Just in the nick of time. literally just went live. Yeah. I almost forgot. I was messing with my projector and alignment and stuff, and almost completely missed the podcast. I mean, I would have missed the start. But anyway, what's going on, Donnie, Lenny? See you in the chat. And yeah, Terrell's here. Still in Mom's house. Yep. Trust me. I've been working on the same project for a month now, and every night, almost up to midnight. Finally, Saturday, my body said enough's enough. At 8:30, I crashed. I just went and laid down. I was out. Didn't wake up till, well, my cat woke me up at like 5:30 in the morning, but then I just still went to bed, back to sleep for a couple hours. I was like, shit, my body's had enough. So yeah, it's tough when you got shit like that to do, because I mean, for me personally, even when I was younger, my body can only do so much physical labor in a day, like from morning to night. And when you hit that point where it's just there's no more left in the tank and you still got stuff to do, that's when it gets real tough. Oh, they're saying they can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, every once in a while Discord will just stop. Oh, it's probably because I left the audio on my speakers.
Some of that may not have been. I wonder how much of that should have been on audio. Anyway, it's fine.
See, why does it go back to default? It should always be on.
I didn't see any updates for. Oh, you know what? I could check for updates, but it'll kick me out of
It's
Discord. I
working
don't
now.
want to do that. Can you hear me now, everyone?
That's all right.
Testing.
He's talking about stuff he's
stuff
been
anyway.
doing. You know, that's the one thing for me. Me and my mom and my sister, we just painted my whole house, and I had a friend help me with some carpet, and it's like I can't imagine paying somebody for that stuff right now because how expensive everything is. But
Well, I got family members, so that's who's helping me with the painting, and that's been manageable. The most expensive shit's been getting a new AC, and
yeah,
living down here in the South. I'm not playing games. I'm not moving in that bitch if I ain't got an AC. I'm just not doing it. The pricing wasn't appealing, but they did. The original owners at least did give me some money towards it. It wasn't enough, but it's a little bit over half. So this week they're supposed to be putting that in. I'll be at work, but my mom's cool enough to be like, "Hey, I'll at least let them in and stuff." So thank God for family. That's all I
you
gotta
gotta have
say.
that central air.
Oh yeah, we ain't playing games with that shit. I was like, absolutely not. You think about the moving this bitch? There ain't no AC, and I went ahead and got the heater switched out too. I'll show you pictures after the podcast. Dog, that heater looks like hell. So I was like, nope, we're just gonna switch both of them out at the same time. I'm not even playing that shit.
Yeah, but I added a furnace and AC in 2020, and for my house is small, and everything basically just swapped out the furnace. Didn't have to do anything else, ductwork or anything, and then just put the AC coil in there and put the new unit. So I want to say I got a pretty good deal. There was some rebates and stuff. I think I paid about $5,000 for mine, but
Yeah, that's what they gave me towards it, and I think I still had to put another. I had to put another $3,000 with it.
Yeah,
So
hey, that's better than nothing. That's way better.
yeah, it's way better. I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be mad at it, but I'm like, because the shit was broken before I even put down the bit. So I'm like, yo, this shit ain't working. You better give me something towards this because this is fucking ridiculous. And I was like, all right, cool. So So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get me a train. I'm gonna get me a high quality one. We ain't playing games with this shit. If I wanted like a Goodman or something, I could have paid $6,000. But I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'd rather get it right originally.
He's running no AC this year. He's gonna see how that went.
Oh Jesus!
Haven't heard.
Who, me?
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about me? You talking about me, fools?
It's working fine so far.
Yeah, we only had 2 really hot days so far here.
Man, please.
I spent $10,000 to fix the fucking AC unit in this bitch.
I'm living in fucking 90 to 100 degree weather down here. I'm not fucking with any of that shit.
I think it got up to 84. It got warm today. It was up to 84.
80, man, I wish it was. I wish it was 84. What the fuck?
What is wrong?
I heard that California had like a severe heat wave. And
California will always have problems with that shit. That's why they keep having like fires and shit. Like it's just that
like Arizona's and stuff, man.
Ooh,
it's a dry heat. I've never felt the dry heat before, so I don't know, but that's what everybody says.
That's like the worst type of heat when it's hot and humid. Fuck you.
That's the only heat I've ever felt my entire life is humid heat. So I don't know what dry heat feels like. Because
I feel like it's an experience you don't need to have.
Maybe it's been 90 or so a few times in my lifetime where it wasn't super humid at the same time. So, but
usually if it's like around 90, it's usually humid, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to. I'm still not a fucking
fan.
Welcome
to the weather podcast.
Hey, look. Well, you guys, unfortunately, I missed the podcast where all the shit went down, so I'm
sad. You weren't here for the Frontiers discussion. We spent a good chunk of change.
I went back and rewatched it. I heard some interesting things.
I saw Donkey's video, and I kind of feel like he was kind of impressed. I'm not sure.
It's weird because when I saw IGN's footage, everyone was like, "Oh, this is some bullshit." But then, like, I heard from other outlets, and they were like, "Hey, it looks worse than it is," and I was like, "Huh."
I don't believe those people.
No,
the people that were there got to play it, and they couldn't take any footage of it whatsoever. Come on.
Yeah.
If there was good stuff to be shown, you already showed the game. What are you hiding? That's what
I'm just supposedly based off interviews I've heard that like these are just like the hub worlds, kind of, sort of. There's supposed to be like actual traditional linear levels as you unlock. So I was kind of like, okay, so you've essentially just made the open world the hub world, and then like the traditional levels are the ones we haven't seen yet, which is probably
for me that makes it worse because
that's not what you wanted.
I just wanted that like a really good area to do shit in. Like I said, use his speed and jumping to like space things way far apart. You use a supersonic speed, time your jumps, and pull off some really cool shit. Hit a fucking jump from one thing, jump to the wall, do a corkscrew, where you actually have to control Sonic instead of just hitting all these boost pads and just sends them automatic everywhere. These rails, like a whole, just get rid of the rail grinding, maybe for just a few cool sections, but it just feels like they're littered everywhere just to like give you
rail grinding. Rail grinding was probably the most enjoyable in like the first couple of adventure games where you actually had to like manually jump to the rails versus every modern game. Oh, we lost C. In every modern game where you had to it just auto jump and just auto pushes you to the next rail, and people were like, yeah, you've kind of taken the fun out of grinding rails. Probably the fun was being able to crouch and increase your speed. And that's the one thing I've noticed a lot of people agree with. Why give me an open world, but you still got me doing this like this automated gameplay design where I can auto run up walls and I can auto I think it's weird. They gave Sonic has a climbing animation too, but like I've only seen it once. I've only seen one
really slow looking. That was
because it's one of those like kind of things, and I'm like, all right, I don't know why you didn't give me. I really feel like Lost Worlds controls would have been the most effective in that area, honestly.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I've had this vision of, Sonic going fast and almost controlling like a race car. Like you actually have to use skill and throttle, like
that was kind of the basis of his design.
And actually, like I said, do this big loop-de-loop and actually have to control it. You know, and it's just not hitting. What are these? There was like purple circles. They're just sending them forward in a straight line. It's all connected, and it's like, why even have an open world if you jump to that and it just shoots you to a specific spot every time? Like, it just feels like the wrong gameplay for the openness that they're throwing in.
Yeah, it's almost like, hey, here's an open world, but like, we're still gonna give you these linear ass gameplay mechanics, and you're just kind of like, well, why even give me the open world then? Because I'm still doing this. Like, if you took him, put all those things back into a Generations level, you wouldn't know there was anything wrong with it, because like his control is literally like Generations. It might be a little bit. It seems a little bit more looser than it used to be, but it still very much feels kind of automated. Way more automated for an open world game than it should be.
They're trying to fulfill the promise of the Sonic Saturn game.
Oh, don't! How dare you?
That said was good.
How dare you? As soon as he said, I was like, "Oh, you bitch! You wouldn't."
Like somebody said, Lenny, it needs another year. I think it needs 2 to 3 years. If that was gonna be the game, that area, and they were gonna build the game around that. Now, if there's all these almost like Mario 64, where you go through something and you just end up in more of a, hey, this is this world, this is the water world area, you know, now here's your levels in this world, then it's like, why have, it's almost like the Pokemon Sword and Shield dipping their toe in the open area where it's just one section of the game. The rest of the game, if I recall, you couldn't like move the camera and stuff. Like,
no, you couldn't. No,
yeah,
you're right. You couldn't.
Some like dipping their toe in, and it's like, I don't know. Whatever I've seen from that open area, to me, I would just scrap it. If they have a regular game, regular levels in there, you know, they could.
I think my issue with it, and someone said it. I think Matthew said something close to it. You can very much tell that Frontiers takes probably way too much from Breath of the Wild in terms of like the area itself. Like, it's obvious. It's obvious. Second one looked at Nintendo and went, "Yeah, that's what we want to do," and I'm like, "That's fine.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're gonna do it."
I'm like, you did it's like you put it in the world, but you did like nothing to change his mechanics.
Yeah, imagine actually just having like this really deep control system, and you could run around the Breath of the Wild world and fucking scale up stuff and just have a ball, like, you know, pun intended, just in the environment, just controlling Sonic. Seeing what you can pull off, seeing what jumps you can string together, going. Instead, it has this like quick little 1 second boost thing. Like, what the hell's up? Why even have that? Like, what does that add to? You should just have, you get up to your max speed, have it be ridiculously fast if that's what you want, and then have fun trying to control them, because that would be the skill. Would be being able to pull off full speed stuff, you know.
From what I heard, there are 2 speeds in this game. Like, there's one that's more focused on combat and one that's more focused on just straight speed. And most people kind of stuck to the combat one because he ran kind of in a controllable pace, and that's what people fuck with. Ironically enough, this is the most interesting combat I've seen from Sonic in like a while, and I'm like, why this game? The only thing I don't like is that the enemies look generic as fuck, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? But like, it's one of those, I'm gonna wait and see more. It has a really bad first impression. That's
it
what
looks
kind of
like
bothered
the combat,
me.
you're gonna be doing that exact move 1,000,000 times by the end of the game. Like, whatever he does.
I like certain parts of it. I like the whole, like, you can walk around enemies and create this wind tunnel, because because of the physics you can do creative shit with that. You can propel yourself and do some cool air combos, or even boost off of it and fall into like a grind rail or something like that. It lends itself to be used in creative ways. The problem is the goddamn physics engine loose enough to let me do that? Like, am I gonna, like, that's the best, let's be real here. That's one of the best things about Breath of the Wild. That physics system is still like fucking amazing.
People, I just seen another video where somebody did something ridiculous, and I'm like, still figuring shit out. Like, they're still finding things, and it's not like they're just finding glitches and stuff. They're just using the physics system in really creative ways. And I'm not saying Sonic needs to have that, but I just want him to actually feel like I'm am controlling Sonic at a high speed, and it actually requires skill, almost like I said, like more like a racing game than anything else. Because I mean, you just have to plan your corners, take it wide so you can make a corner at full speed. Like I said, have these just things. Can I jump to that? Let me run full speed. Let me get a running start and see if I can make that jump, and just have fun in a sandbox. I think that could be cool, but I don't know. I'm gonna stand by my statement saying it's gonna score a 60 or below on the Metacritic.
I think if nothing else, even if the game is as rigid as it looks, I think at the very least it'll at least pull out a 7 to 7.5.
That's if it comes out this year. If they delay,
they keep saying this year. From what I heard though, the build that's been shown is the older build, and I'm like, it better be, because you got some ridiculous pop-in going on, and that don't even look like the Switch version. That's just fucking. Yeah. I'm betting that's like either the PC or like the PS5 or Xbox build. I'm like, yo, that better be an older build, because that pop-in looks kind of ridiculous. That's like Sword and Shield pop-in right there.
It's like that Starfield demo. I know the game's a year out. I'm glad it is, because there's some pretty bad slowdown in a couple spots.
Were you impressed by that Were you impressed by Starfield?
Personally,
because it didn't really do nothing for me personally.
Gameplay-wise, it didn't really do anything for me. I kind of like the aesthetic. The barren alien worlds, if they're not, I just don't want them all to look like that. You need some jungle area would be cool. Some unique planets. And I'm not impressed at all by the 1,000 planets thing, because that's just
yeah.
I
don't care. That means nothing until like the game comes out.
20 really good planets than 1,000 whatever procedurally generated planets.
My main problem is that they don't have enough current goodwill from the consumer for me to be like just inherently excited for what they put out. Because with all the internal shit that's going on with the company, the last game of note you put out that people talk about is fucking 76, which was a fucking mess. You're not gonna get, to me, that game's gonna have to come out and I'm gonna have to see review scores before I'm just like,
I don't think that'll be a Cyberpunk situation where it's broken.
No, but I'm just, they haven't earned that. There's a certain level of fanboyism that goes into like every developer, and when you burn me too many times, I'm a lot more cautious about what your next project
is. Like, for example, it's day one on Game Pass, so you don't have to buy it.
Dog? I hate it. I hate it. That's the one that I did with a breakout. I don't know what people listen. The Xbox showcase is in the same line as every other showcase that they've done in the last couple years. In some ways, I argue it's worse, but it falls in that same line where they show a bunch of like third-party shit with a couple of like Xbox Studio titles, and I think this one's even worse because there are Xbox Studio titles that weren't even there that I expected to see. Like, I figured to see Hellblade at least once, because I'm like, you showed gameplay footage of it the last time we saw it.
Like, Game Awards, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was like 6 months ago.
Well, it ain't coming out in the next 12 months because they said that's what they were showcasing.
That's crazy to me.
Well, I've been saying, I don't know. I mean, I think you were here when we were going over all their still recording audio, still going to Iceland, scans of the environment. Like, this was recent. Like, you're still doing that shit. So
yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. I was kind of bummed out.
I thought it was a little better than the usual Xbox showcase, because it wasn't just the same type of games, and there was less of the let's just do either a CG scene that tells you who's making the game and nothing, and it's some kind of name. Remember that, was it Contraband or something last year?
Yeah, Contraband.
And it's just like, it was like inside a trailer, and then we don't see anything from it. That's why I hate when you do that, because Nintendo did it with Metroid Prime 4. It's like, it's cool to know that game was being developed. That's a known franchise, but for a new IP,
that don't make no sense.
There's no reason to announce your game with no indication of what kind of game it is. And
I don't see, you're not helping the game at all. If it's a new IP like Metroid or like any other like well-established franchise, like if you said Fable or even Halo, it's like, oh yeah, we know what those things are. I can kind of get excited over a logo to a degree, but you can't do that for a series that is just starting.
And but they were just they did I don't think they had anything like that this year.
They're only no, everything at least had some type of footage. My problem was some of the smaller things that ticked me off, like I sing Hollow Knight again, and then like no date
Silk
for
Song?
Hollow Knight or yeah, Silk Song.
It looks so freaking good too. I hope it's out this year.
Yeah. The other thing, fucking seeing Grounded and Sea of Thieves again, and I'm just like, guys, I'm like, look, at
we
this
talked
at this
about that
point,
last week. That's the stuff you cut out. You have just a more streamlined.
Well, again, I would defend Grounded. This is finally the full game of Grounded. It's not. It's been in beta or whatever.
Yeah,
forever,
but you can
so.
just have a launch trailer. I mean,
well, yeah, the problem with that one,
been playable.
Well, you're having a launch event. You're having an event, a big event. You want to let everybody know that, hey, this is the full game now. I understand that.
I hated the way Grounded was handled. That fucking because I honestly thought the game was out.
I didn't know it wasn't out either. So
yeah, well, like it was one of those.
There you go. You just proved my point.
I didn't know.
It doesn't.
No,
but it
what
didn't
I
help.
meant was I thought the game had been out a year now.
Yeah.
Okay. You proved my point. People don't know that's not the full game. So they're letting people know that, hey, this has been beta this entire time. Now it's the full game.
For me, that's more ridiculous.
That people just thought that was the game, and it's like they weren't. It wasn't even clear marketing that.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was one of those things.
Well, I think if you're playing it, you know it's not the game. So have you been playing
it? Booted it up. Does it say beta? Like, did it say?
Yeah, it lets you know
beta?
right away that it's not. Yeah, lets you know it's a beta.
Still, no one's gonna play that game. So.
Well, there's millions of people. You say that, but there's millions of people playing it. Just like Sea of Thieves, there's millions of people playing Sea of Thieves.
The Sea of Thieves thing is one of those.
That had a slow grind. I will give Sea of Thieves credit. That started out pretty rough, and then
I respect the effort in patching and improving the game to this extent. The problem is that at a certain point, I think the market is just kind of like, I don't care. Like it's been out. We've literally been hearing about it since fucking.
I feel it's been at like 5 E3s now.
Yeah, like it's been like 5 years or some shit, and I'm just like, at this point, that's like even fucking Call of Duty doesn't do shit like that, where I'm just like constantly seeing the same game. Here's a new update. I
feel the same way about the Ubisoft games, like what is it called? Siege? Is it just Siege?
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I mean, for what 3-4 E3s in a row, they're pushing, and I know it's their moneymaker, but it. It's like, as just a casual Ubisoft fan watching, it's like, really? This again? Like, how many years are you going to show this? It'd be like Nintendo showing Splatoon 2 still in a direct every year. I know it's...
Like, I'm cool with, like, if you want to put out, like, trailers and, like, here's a YouTube video, here's a tweet for it, sure. But, like, at the event, I'm just kind of like, I don't even think, if people care at this point, they would have already picked up the game. It's not like, to me, the biggest Sea of Thieves update that stuck out to me was the whole Jack Sparrow thing. Once that shit happened, I'm like, I don't think you're gonna really top that in terms of interesting things to put out. I think this one was fucking. You can change the color of your ship or some shit. I don't even remember. It was some real superfluous shit, and I'm just kind of like, bro, can we just stop? Can you put out a sequel? I'd rather see a sequel at this point. It's been 5 fucking years.
I don't know. What were the old?
So like Overwatch 2 then?
Yes.
That looked like
yes.
Yeah, that's going over really well.
Even fucking tell, like, they show the difference, and it's just like a time of day.
Overwatch 2 that's a fucking joke. That game you shouldn't even put. That's Overwatch 1.13. That's what that shit is.
The fans are loving Overwatch 2.
Yeah,
Nah.
If they had come up with something that made it stand apart from Overwatch 1, maybe, but still.
Well, I think that whole situation shat on itself once I feel like a lot of developers left, and that's when all the accusations and stuff were coming out.
Do you feel like, I don't know if Microsoft in particular feels like they need a longer show? Like if they had a less than an hour E3,
no, they need a shorter show. That's the fucking
yeah. But do you think they feel like maybe it would look bad if they had a 45-minute show instead of an hour 30? I just kind of feel like that's their mentality.
I say no because they had the deeper dive, which was great. Everybody loved the deeper dive stuff from what I've seen. So you had the opportunity to, explain the games better if you need to, or just cut out some of the stuff that shouldn't have been there. We felt like shouldn't have been there, and then you can do the explaining more in your 45 minutes or your hour. I say, a good hour hour 10, they should have, that should have been it. Shouldn't have been anything longer than that, and everything else should have been, better
Well,
cut, because it was a huge lull. And like you guys were saying, the Sea of Thieves stuff, the grounded stuff was all in that lull where nobody was really caring. So you could have cut most of that or cut it down, not make a big thing about just a blip on Sea of Thieves. This is added, blah blah blah. Keep moving,
It's
like
just
you
like,
want
Did
to
a whole musical and shit. Like, come on.
do like one of the that's what's tripping me out. I'm like, bro, this game is 5 years old, and you out here giving this thing a whole like little section, like a good 5-minute section. I'm just like, dude, put it on another game. Like, do those little real things I think that Nintendo will sometimes do with their smaller titles. Be like, oh,
Yeah,
here's this,
sizzle
here's
reel.
that, here's that. Yeah,
Remember
that's
when
all
they-
you got to do.
Remember when they announced Alien Isolation in the sizzle reel, like that coming to
That
the
was
Switch?
kind of that was one of the
It was
weirder
just like
ones.
sizzle reel. It was like, oh, Alien Isolation's coming to the Switch. What the fuck?
Like that should have just been its own little thing. What the hell?
But
Wasn't that the same year we were getting the fucking Resident Evil ports? And you're like, so you gave Resident Evil this whole little section to talk about their ports, but you wouldn't fucking mention Alien Isolation? All right, fine. GG's. The fuck?
yeah, and then the Jeff Keighley, just like how much time they gave them to talk about The Last of Us Part 1. Like, I just kept skipping ahead 5 minutes and it was still on. I'm like,
Yeah, it kept
what
going.
the fuck is like?
I just want to say, so we don't need E3, right? Yeah, after what we just got, when Summer Game Fest, we don't need E3. E3 didn't need to go away. Okay. Hope.
Well,
Do they-
for
people
for
still
me
have that same
watching,
energy?
the only thing I really miss out on is like the Treehouse playing the games I'm interested in. As far as the other companies, it's other than a few didn't do anything, it still was a similar feel to me.
Yeah.
But Jeff Keighley's
Fucking
like that. I watched like he always makes it more cringe than it probably is. I don't know if he edited some things that looked cringe at times. I go, I don't know if he edited that awkwardness or was that actually in it, because it was like the product
what I heard,
placement stuff was just like,
from what I heard, it's a combination of both. Like it's still pretty cringe on its own. But man, when you get behind Adobe Premiere, you can have a fucking ball game with this footage. What the fuck? Some of it was just bad. Like, what the hell? Also, side note, fuck Kojima. I don't give a fuck about your collaborations with Xbox. I didn't give a fuck about your collaboration with Sony. Your last game was
Some
a
people
walking.
do.
that shit's at least
That
4 years out.
last game, yeah. When you walk out and you're like, I'm working with Xbox today. Oh, okay. The fuck.
Oh, you betrayed us.
Do you at least have
Some
a
people
title?
care, bro.
Yeah. Do you have a? No, I'm just saying. Do you have a title for the game? No. What, get the fuck out of here! I don't care.
How long was
Like,
it
what?
between the announcement of Sony and Kojima working together and Death Stranding releasing, I wonder? I know
Oh,
we've
man.
seen those for 2 straight years. We just saw these cryptic ass CG cutscenes, and then I think third
It still don't
year,
make sense
we
when you
might have
play the
seen
game,
him
from what I
actually
heard.
running in that open world with the backpack, and then it was like a year after that it came out. But
Something tells me this game will get more scrutiny than Death Stranding got.
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know
'Cause it's on
anybody
X-
that
'cause-
didn't scrutinize
This
This
is
is
on
on
Xbox.
Xbox. Does what?
Yeah, but Death Stranding got a lot of
I can't
scrutiny.
think
To
of
be
one
fair.
person.
It got scrutiny, but
It got-
a lot of
it
people,
got- it-
a lot of people,
people-
pretending they like that shit. They know they ain't like that.
People gave it more of a chance than I thought they would, but I think that literally just boils down to it being fucking Kojima and not that the game was. Because the game, it's one of those
After you
games.
play for about 10 hours, then it starts to fuck.
Yeah, I'd be
you.
ready to swing on somebody. How dare you tell me that shit? After I finished delivering packages, I remember that shit. We didn't find out the actual gameplay until like I think it was the week before or some shit, and they were like, "We're fucking you're Amazon delivery guy," and you're just like, "What?"
I have a feeling that
With all these
that-
cryptic ass tweets and the babies and the slime monsters and shit, I'm fucking delivering packages. That's the main gameplay loop.
I kind of feel like Retro Death would actually love that game if he played it.
Retro Dead probably does love that game.
He
You know,
doesn't sound. He doesn't seem like he likes it, or he acts like he wouldn't like it. But I just really have a feeling he would love that game. I don't know why. It just got that. in
because
my
he has
gut.
bad opinions. That's why.
Does it have caves to explore?
I'm not sure.
Does it have what to explore?
Caves.
Caves.
I've never seen a cave.
No, actually, no. The only thing you can do is I think build roads, and then you can get like a little delivery cart and shit later on. Like it's
The
Can
combat.
you
I've-
get can you go underwater? Can you go underwater with 800 pounds on your back?
no.
There is some
they're going
funny.
for, they're going for that realism, T.
There is some funny like
You'll fucking drown.
you know how Link's can roll all the way down to his death. There's some funny Death Stranding spills where all his shit and he just falls all the way down the mountain.
Oh, animation wise, it's hilarious.
There's some funny. I mean, it's not supposed to be funny.
And then,
But it is.
and then this man, and then this man had the nerve to be like, "Here's my director's cut where I made it more of a video game," and I was like, "No,
I don't
nigga,
even
just
remember like even seeing a review. I definitely didn't read or watch any. I don't know.
I watched a review. I
It
remember
actually
watching
came
one.
out, right? The director's cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
I wonder what it actually.
It's just more of a video game. I think they gave it more shooting sections and shit, but like the core gameplay, you can't just take out chunks of, hey, by the way, do you want to walk 8 miles to deliver this digital person a
miles?
package? Yeah. Do you want to
So,
walk 8 miles to give them this package of water?
So earlier today, I tested out the 3 Resident Evil games. I got the free upgrade. And I gotta say, man, I know the games weren't built around it. I didn't encounter anything where I was like, oh, that's ray traced reflection there. Like I didn't see any difference. I hadn't played those games in a while, but they're still great looking games. And the Resident Evil 7, literally on the base PS4, was like 2.5 minutes from starting the game. After you put the disc in, to actually being able to move your character. I want to say it was 2.5 to 3 minutes, which maybe that's when I was definitely like, I'm suspending this game. I'm not playing anything else till I finish this game, because every time I fucking boot it up, it's 3 minutes.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
like
that.
5 seconds. I mean, it's that in itself is reason enough to download the PS5 version. But I didn't, I didn't notice anything. But I did play Resident Evil 3 for like 45 minutes to an hour. I started my second playthrough, and I do like that opening section. It's really fun.
Oh yeah, the beginning part of Resident Evil 3 is fucking great. The problem is everything after that section
Pretty much.
that it kind of drops off. I went ahead and rebought Resident Evil 2 remake on PC, and PC also got the update. And from what I've seen from other users, the ray tracing kind of fucks that game's frame rate up, and that might be something that definitely needs to be patched. But like when I kind
ray
of
tracing shit, man.
I'm
so sick of this shit.
when I kind of got it working, it looks all right. I mean, it looks nice.
Yeah, I mean,
although
to me, I didn't see you can't switch it on the fly, so
yeah,
I'm like,
I have to
don't know.
restart the game if I want to switch it.
Is that police cars, red and blue lights flashing? Is that any different than it was before? I don't know. I'm curious to see, but it's nice that they did the free upgrade.
Yeah,
And I don't think they did anything resolution wise, or because the game on PS4 Pro was like 1440p, I believe.
right.
And honestly, I didn't see the option, but if it just ran at lock 60 4K, that I'd probably choose that just to clean up the image, because they're great looking games already, and those character models look better than fucking.
I put another like 3 hours into fucking Resident Evil 2, just trying to quote unquote test it out, and now I'm like, fuck, man, I want to go back and finish the whole game again. I don't fucking. That game is great. I don't know if anyone tells me that remake is gold, dog. I love that.
I
shit.
started the second one, and I was Claire with a 5 bullets and a standard gun, and then she has like an old 6-shooter. I had 6 shots in that, and I'm like, oh fuck! Like I just didn't know where I had been, what I was needed to do. So I was like, yeah, it's been too long.
Is the third person view shit in?
Oh yeah, the third person
Village
shit
gets that in the August update, the DLC.
Okay.
I might buy the game then.
Because honestly, that looks like a true next, evolution of the Resident Evil franchise. Like that to me looks like Resident Evil. Like
That's what I fucking wanted. I wanted that third person shit. When you were like, "Oh, we're gonna go back to first," I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that shit."
I would
Yeah.
if they added it to
That's what
7.
turned me off to the new ones, is the first person view. Just I don't know.
I'm not a fan of it. I've always never liked first person games. That's part of the reason why I couldn't get into like Call of Duty and shit. On top of it also being a shooty bang bang.
It does add a certain
immersion.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm hearing my echo all of a sudden. When I play Final Fantasy VII, I'm like, I feel like instead of what I was watching you play it, it's not just the visual, it's the new perspective change. Being able to look up and seeing this huge structure over you just adds something and really made it feel like you were there instead of just looking down watching the game,
No, for me, I just when it comes to that view, to me it always turned into a trade-off. I'm trading like proper camera controls and like being able to get like a full view of my surroundings for immersion. And for some people it's worth it. For me, that bugs the shit out of me in a game that I can literally get caught and get fucking torn apart by werewolves and shit. But I recognize the appeal to it. But I'd be lying if I didn't say, I'm like, hey, we put a third person mode in Village? Okay. All right, bet. If I got some, I don't know if I'm gonna have any money, but realistically, but I have the money. I'll try to. I'll try to cop that later.
I was plenty immersed in the tank controls and static backgrounds of the original game, so where I can understand where that will make immersion for more people, more players. For me, I was already immersed in Resident Evil beforehand, so
surprised how many people are still in that camp.
It wasn't an incentive for me.
There's a lot more people in that Resident Evil tank controls camp than I thought they would be.
Yeah,
I thought people would be like, oh yeah, we'll go ahead and move on first person. Like, no, there's like a good chunk of people
live without them. I mean, Resident Evil 4 showed me that I can live without those. Well, I mean, I knew that beforehand, but
it still has the forward and backward tank controls though. You still press.
Yeah, I mean, but I just meant like
it's kind of like a compromise.
The camera's stuck, and you go in a room, and you're like you're at the top of the screen, and up means go forward. That kind of shit,
So the only thing that's different is you have to turn with the right camera, and then you just strafe. But to me, I said it before, I'll say it again. Our RE2 remake feels like the perfect blend of the original
such a good game
style games and
I got to get around to 4.
Might as well get on the Steam Deck.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I've been going through some
stuff, so I don't know if I want to play it on Steam Deck though. I might want to play it on the big screen. Well, I can do that, but
I've played it on both. It works.
Played on console.
Steam has been pretty
Series X
good
now with the PS5 or with the free
upgrades. Yeah.
I think that's where I'd rather play it.
Visor Grunt did mention something I wanted to bring up that confused the fuck out of me. So Square decided I'm gonna announce some Final Fantasy stuff, and we already knew they were gonna see some stuff. I think they mentioned Part 2 for 7 finally, although I think that comes out next year. But the thing that confused me is they remade Crisis Core, and the thing that confused me the most is you put that bitch on Switch. And what confuses me even more is that from what I've heard, it is not a cloud version. But I'm like, you're using the same engine as Remake. So what?
I'm confused.
What caused that? I don't understand. I need to see it run. I really do. But it's just weird. They didn't show footage, but the Switch logo is there on the trailer. No, they show. All right, so they show footage of the game, but they didn't show like the Switch version specifically
at all.
It's not a. They say it's a remake.
If you see it's using RE7 Remake's engine, you can tell that.
But it looks like it's using the same code.
Why would it be using RE? You mean Final Fantasy 7?
Final Fantasy.
Oh my bad. Sorry, my brain cut.
4.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7's engine. I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, well, you just released all these fucking Kingdom Hearts games on cloud, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, we're gonna remake the fucking PSP game in these crisp new visuals, and we'll port that natively to Switch. And I'm just like,
what's the official name of it?
Final Fantasy. Oh, what is it?
Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion.
Yeah, Reunion. That's it.
The right way.
Crisis Core Reunion.
Donnie Art says it's using Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah, that's what Final. That's what.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to watch The Boys too. I seen an ad for it. Sorry.
You haven't seen any of it yet?
I haven't watched any of it yet.
Oh, you're in for a treat. It's a nice binge for the first 5 episodes.
I was trying to wait till I had my theater room done, and then I just sent my speakers back, getting different ones. So I'm gonna be another fucking week.
The other thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, this is the game. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
the
the
cutscenes
this
are-
cut.
7.
Those got to be all new, right? Cutscenes, but
That's
the gameplay itself, it looks like. I mean,
It's-
obviously, it
it's-
looks a lot better, but it looks like it's still using the same code in some, aspects.
yeah, like
Like
Crisis
the gameplay,
Core.
the core game's still there underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it throws me off because
See,
I'm
this,
like,
yeah,
what?
that's not up to the level of 7 right there.
No.
Not even close. I mean, it looks good, but it's no.
Oh, it looks good.
It's not Final Fantasy 7.
It looks really good. If you take, it's a PSP game. I mean, that looks.
Yeah, that's why I think that's
definitely. This isn't full on using. I mean, maybe it's Unreal Engine 4, but they're not going to the same level with it.
Not that spoilers out there, but I'm a little miffed about what they seem to be doing with the main character there,
See, this
and
dude was
how
in
it
Final
ties
Fantasy
into.
7
Oh,
Final
I know what you're
Fantasy
talking
VII.
about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
I
talking
don't want to
about.
ruin it for anybody, but
I knew what
See,
you're
like
talking about.
this right here, that does not look. That looks like the PSP game.
I know it's an old game, but I feel like if they're making new versions, it's still. It's not fair because some people have never played those old versions, so I don't.
That's what makes me mad. You like, how is this? This is like,
This
it's a
looks
remake.
like the PSP game right here.
Yeah, see, there's shots of it that you can tell.
There's
that it came from
aspects.
PSP. Yeah,
Who is this dark haired dude? Because I just
Zach. It's
Zach. Yeah,
he was in the
I can't-
remake. And
yeah, he's in the remake, but he's also
they
he's
gave
in the
no
original game.
explanation why he has wearing Cloud's outfit and has his.
I
Well,
don't want to. All right, so here's the thing: it's a spoiler for a game that you haven't played.
Mm.
So you'll find out later, or we can
Yeah.
tell you right now.
So why did they tease? Why would they show multiple scenes of this in the remake? I'm guessing they're gonna come to a conclusion. In that game,
the problem
hopefully.
here, and this kind of gets to the problem with Final Fantasy VII Remake as a whole. It's not it's not the same story as the original. So unfortunately, to understand Remake, if you didn't play the original game, Remake won't make sense.
right.
Yeah.
Like when people see Zach, they're like, "Oh shit, it's Zach!" But if you've never played the original Final Fantasy VII, you're like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Right, and it doesn't make sense.
So I wish they hadn't have gone this route.
Me too.
But Square's gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah.
And
What's
if that
the one
means
that says it's out now,
the original,
looks like your Final Fantasy 7 something.
is it that
Brigade,
mobile one?
Something Brigade.
Reunion.
No, Brigade. What the hell
I'm
is
trying
Brigade?
to read this small text.
It's got to be the mobile game. There is a mobile game they're doing that's like a fucking compilation of all the games as its own mobile thing that's only on mobile for some stupid ass reason. That might be what they're talking about. But yeah, my biggest issue is that you fucking remade their most popular Final Fantasy game ever, and you fucking just said, well, we're gonna retell the story.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you do that?
I'm not a fan of that at all. But
Even if you were gonna do that, it shouldn't have been the first thing. You should have just remade the game first, then did this weird retelling shit. And I think that's the only reason why they're
what's the
remaking
Final
Crisis
Fantasy
Core.
7?
to me, it takes something away from Zach.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. Because the
I'm sure
excitement
it's not just to me, but I'm just saying it takes.
because
something
the excitement that most normal Final Fantasy VII fans who played the original game have when they see him
Oh,
in
that was
remake.
Intrograde. Sorry, that's his. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's his,
Intergrade. Yeah, that's the PC port of it's coming out. It's getting a PC port. But yeah, I'm like, why would you do that? Because new people who are going to be playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time are playing not even the original story. Actually, you won't even get half of the changes and things that happen because you didn't play the original games. I don't know. That just irked me though. Square is weird, and then the fucking
they're weird.
I don't get it.
Well, we'll see what the next part to this remake, how far into the game it goes. If people are like, oh yeah, now you're 20% through the game, I'll be like, fuck that. I ain't.
So
I ain't playing.
I looked at the trailer. The trailer seems to. I don't know. T, did you see the trailer for part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII remake?
I don't think I have. No.
It literally, most of the trailer just takes place in that flashback where they go back to, was it Nibelheim, and you got Cowboy Tifa and Sephiroth in the mansion and shit. That's literally all I saw in the trailer, and I'm like, well, that's just a flashback. You better.
I'll put it up on the screen.
You better. I know damn well it better not just be the fucking flashback. Because I don't.
Like I said, I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, just put it up. Just put it up. I need you to watch this to make sure I'm not tripping. Because when I saw it, I'm like, this literally just looks like. This just looks like the fucking flashback. Yeah, this is
separate.
Yeah, remember because in the flashback they're together because.
That's right.
But that's it's just the flashback. That's not the plot. Like
you can't do part 2 and show a flashback and make it playable. What the?
I think they just made the flashback. It feels like they made the flashback.
And what is fiction?
And then this scene, which is
what?
This is and then this is from well, it's from I won't say for Juice's sake, but you're like, huh? What the fuck am I looking at? Why is that
what are we doing here?
That could just be a few minutes. I mean, that could be a 15-minute opening of the game. Honestly, the very first part.
I guess it could be, but why make that a trailer for your?
Yeah, because now I'm just like, that's only now. To be fair, that is the next thing that happens once you leave Midgar.
Yeah,
but it's just a flashback in the fucking original game. So I'm like, please don't tell me you made this bitch a fucking the whole second section. But you won't know until the stupid game comes out. Was it next year? I think.
Yeah, I think it's next year. Yeah.
Oh, man, it's gonna be interesting. 2023's looking like a lot of fucking games are coming out, and we'll see. If that actually makes it out,
it's gonna be stupid. I mean, we say that shit every year. Bro.
I know, but it's really lining up. It's really lining up this time. I feel.
We'll see.
Yeah, because, I wouldn't... I mean, Breath of the Wild, to me, there's no chance of it not making it in 2023 at this point. 6 years, there's no way it's going to be out. Then, but most of Xbox's games they showed and Sony showed in their state of play were all 2023. So... But, yeah, another thing you're talking about... Sea of Thieves getting updates and stuff. Horizon just got a really good patch where they fixed the
I did see that
performance mode. I mean, I lived with it, but
which Horizon now?
The
Forbidden West.
Yeah. You say Horizon, there's a Forza Horizon out there, so you got it.
Forbidden West, the frame rate mode, the 60 FPS mode, when you move all
or
the
also
details,
did get an update.
You call it shimmering. It's when it's all the jagged edges kind of are moving as the camera moving, and they pretty much eliminated it. And it looked. I played about 2 hours last night.
Have you finished it yet?
No, I'm about 38 hours in, and literally I look on the map and I've declouded like a quarter of it. I'm like,
oh Christ!
I don't see how people got. I mean, I know how they got through it in 32 hours. They just went.
Yeah, they only did like main story.
It was Robert in that
bit. They went to the marker and the game credits and game's over. It's like there's so much to do. I mean, there's so many. Just the side quests I've done. I mean, it's not like some of them aren't like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing. It's just gets resources, kill some robot dinosaur or robot animals, get a resource from it, bring it back to somebody that's going to be making armor, something like that. But I went off and did that, found this tribe. There was a mudslide and the area was all underwater, and ended up in this cave, and then I let this water fill up the cave to float this guy that was injured out, and then it lowered the water in the area so that you could walk on, you have to swim everywhere. I'm like, this is just some random side quest I had stumbled across, and it's like, I just spent over an hour doing this, and I enjoyed every second of it. So it's like, I guess that's not crucial to the experience and saying you beat the game, but to me, I'm glad I did it. Like, that's why I bought the game, to play it. I don't buy it just to blow through it, see the credits. That's just not me. And, I just...
Well, I mean, that game kind of needed some more time in the light. Because just like when the first game came out, it got overshadowed.
I see Robert Rule said,
fuck that game.
Robert Rule 2 said he finally gave it the first game his third try playing it. He says he's finally enjoying it. It just, he tried playing it right before Elden Ring came out, so because he was thinking about getting Forbidden West. And I'm like, at some point, you might just want to say, forget it, but I'm glad he said he's really enjoying it this time.
Yeah.
So
It took me a while to get into it, so I understand.
yeah, it was years before I went back to that DLC and just like, man, this game is really fun. I will say though, going to the Resident Evil remakes, I'm doing this when I hit the left trigger. I'm trying to fucking gyro aim. And I'm like, that's honestly what made me turn the Resident Evil 3 off. I would have kept playing. I looked if they added gyro, they didn't. I'm so used to that in Horizon now, like it's hard to go back.
Oh, gyro was fucking great.
So
I use that shit whenever I can use it. I use it. Yeah.
it's so good in Forbidden West, man. It's a shame that it's such an unused feature. Even when they put it in the game, I bet you 95% of people don't use it.
Yeah, it's a small percent of people who actually use that feature.
I'm glad they still keep doing it though, even knowing that, because I appreciate the hell out of it. I'm sure.
I feel like if Xbox put it in their controller, I think all their games would have it. Like all their first-party games would have it.
That's my biggest gripe with this freaking Xbox is they don't use gyro aim.
The question is, are they ever going to put it in the controller though?
They should.
I mean, the
question is if they were going to put a battery charger, a chargeable battery in the controller.
that is still one of the weirdest things they've actively been like, we're just not going to do. I'm like, what? Why? It can't be that fucking expensive. What the fuck?
I forget what I paid for that double pack, and 3 years later, I didn't have the pack charger used in months, and I plugged it in, turned the Xbox on, and the damn thing still had a charge, and I only paid like $25 for a double pack and a little USB charger.
I bought my own, so it's better.
You know, that's a small little additional cost that was well worth it, you know. But they could also incorporate it at some point.
Oh yeah,
especially the Elite $180 controller.
Yeah, you're gonna charge that much. You're gonna charge fucking console for a controller, prices for a controller. I can't talk right now. You need to put a fucking rechargeable battery in there. That's bullshit right there, bro.
Damn. I guess we should mention the Xenoblade
the
Direct
coming what?
Wednesday.
I just saw this. So we got a Xenoblade Direct. When is it? This Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wednesday.
And then next week on my birthday, we got a Nintendo Direct. Is that right?
Well, rumor-wise, we have a Nintendo
okay,
Direct.
so it's still a rumor. So I saw somebody put that in their headline like it was real shit.
No.
That's
still in rumor land.
Because they've been saying June for a while, and they want to give themselves one last chance to be right. So they.
I mean, realistically, a lot of people are
last
like,
week.
But don't put it out there like it's facts now.
They're running with it because
the Xenoblade thing is facts.
Yeah,
so why put that together with the Nintendo?
I don't see Nintendo
Direct?
doing a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct and then a Nintendo Direct a week later. I would expect it.
They've done that. They've done that before.
They could. I can't say they won't do it.
I won't say they won't, but usually they do it the other way around, where they'll have the Direct.
I think I would be surprised that people know this early.
No one predicted the Xenoblade Direct. How did they know about the big Direct if they didn't even know about the Xenoblade?
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
So in Retro Death, we're talking about they don't want to see any more of the game. I still want to they could show me the opening 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the game. I want to see.
What is that gonna do? The game is 100 goddamn hours. You know it's 100 hours. So what's showing you a few more snippets?
I don't.
I mean,
I don't know.
You've already seen the main party, for God's sakes. I'm not like, it's nothing else you can really spoil me on.
I don't know the story of one, so I almost could use a little catch up. I mean, I bought it. And I intend to play it, but at the same time,
the only thing you need to know is that the characters with angel wings come from that game, and technically, here's a spoiler: 1 and 2 take place at the same time. There is no they call the 1 and 2, but they literally, like, time wise, the ending of 2. At the end of 2, you can hear Shulk's voice, and it's like, oh, that's the end of the game from the first game.
Yeah,
which is like the only spoiler I know of from the first game.
So I'm just looking forward to seeing more of the game. And the one thing that's got me less excited was when they showed the battle and 6 characters now, 6 party members with health bars.
Yeah, it's 7 actually.
And the fucking screen is, and I talked about this. Anybody that's seen Ready Player One, when they're talking about taking up 70% of your vision before you induce seizures, and it's like, there's so much. I don't even know what the gobbledygook. That's something T might say. Gobbledygook on the screen.
How dare you?
Plus all the numbers, plus all the shit happening. I'm just like, honestly, that was a big turnoff for me. There's just so much going on. I've been playing no HUD game, like the last, pretty much this year. I've been kind of going more no HUD, and it's just really hard to see that and be excited to play that with just. I mean, it feels like 50% of the screen is just nonsense. I mean, yeah, you need the numbers, but
you say that, but when you go back and look at like Xenoblade 2's battle screen, it's just as cluttered in a lot. Yeah, it is. Someone took a comparison. I'm like, damn, I don't remember 2's battle screen being that fucking cluttered. Hold on,
me neither.
But I mean, I recently played it, so.
But like I said, I've been kind of going streamlined HUD with the games I've been playing.
If they gave you a promo, that would be kind of your
even in Legends Arceus, I kept clicking the stick to turn off the HUD. I'm just that's what I like. I don't know. This year I did that. Horizon I have the HUD on dynamic, and Elden Ring almost has no HUD.
Because the Elden Ring, is the Elden Ring effect.
It's the Elden Ring.
I did it before.
Only Elden Ring, they clear up the HUDs, and only in Elden Ring. So.
And even Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have a HUD, so.
Never done that before that game. That game's revolutionary.
Hey, that's still a great game though.
Yeah.
I ain't hating. I mean, I'm just trying to put facts out there.
He's pointing. He's just talking about the no
back
HUDs.
at my Elden Ring time, almost like thinking back at like it's just like Breath of the Wild. It almost feels like I actually went on a journey, me personally. And it's been the first game since Breath of the Wild to do that for me, so it's in rare company.
Breath
of the Wild was not first person, so how were you that immersed?
Elden Ring's not first person.
I see what he's doing there. Fucking, I do want to mention one thing Lenny mentioned that did traumatize. So, if anyone was on Twitter the day this was happened, is that they were like, "Oh, here's a special edition of Xenoblade 3 that's gonna come out, right?" And we're going to announce it to you at a later date. And they waited, and they announced it on Twitter, like, I think it was like almost a week ago or some shit. And when I say that was the worst experience I've had in a while trying to get something, that was like PS5 levels of bad trying to get some shit. They announced it on Twitter, and their site crashed. Fucking crashed. And someone in the back was like, someone on Twitter was like, hey, I don't think Nintendo realized that Xenoblade is a popular franchise or something. Because they broke that. And here's the kicker. That was the day I was closing.
Did we expect anything less?
No, we don't. But what cracked me up is that's the day I closed on my house. So I'm sitting in the fucking lawyer's office.
You need it is what you're saying. You don't need to spend that money.
It's like I was. Yeah, I got you.
I'm sitting there, I'm
refreshing and shit.
And he's sitting there talking to me about like the details of the purchase of the home. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what? I got signed there.
That gamer life, boy. That gamer life, something else.
Do I got like, initial or sign there? What?
Yeah, I actually did almost run.
You don't even know what you signed. Is it that?
Yeah.
Did you end up getting one?
You signed your house over to the lawyer and shit. Didn't even know it.
If you were in the U.S., nobody got one. Apparently, in Europe, the bitch worked fine, but in fucking the United, and here's the kicker: from what Nintendo reps were saying, we have enough copies, so. What was the issue? Oh, the site just fucking died. So your site just happened to die at the same time everybody's trying to get this one thing because I think you thought that it wasn't gonna break the site. You bastards. So a lot of people are hoping
more copies of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in anticipation for 3 coming out.
How about printing more copies of Torna, you bitches?
Actually, Torna would probably be the better. Because Torna, I think, is harder to find right now.
Yeah, that shit's over $100 right now, bro.
But a lot of people are hoping when this direct at least mentions, hey, when can the Americans get their fucking special edition? Nintendo, the fuck? I'm glad. And listen, I'm glad that Monosoft is finally getting the props they deserve. Because now Nintendo's like, yeah, this is our franchise. This is our RPG heavy hitter. This is our Final Fantasy, baby. Fuck them. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, get it in. Just release more copies of the game that we can purchase. Right. You fuck. That's all you gotta do.
I don't know where this will go, but Nintendo posted some Splatoon 3 screenshots. I forget what
Is
day
it the
that was.
is it the fuzzy octolings in
There's
4K?
the fuzzy octolines and shit, and no other. I looked at a bunch of games that had like the same thing where they were announced over the last couple weeks, like Resident Evil 4 remake and stuff. Looked at images on Twitter. For some reason, those octoling ones, the only images I've ever seen on Twitter had an option to load in 4K. And
So,
I've never seen that for any like not Starlink. What's it called? Star or something.
Starfield.
That's the only one I didn't check. Like you would think if that's a new feature for Twitter that some of these games would have, but for some reason the fuzzy octoling had a load in 4K option on Twitter, and definitely
I will
wasn't
say
a Switch captured. Off
Oh no,
the
that just
Switch.
means the Switch Pro's coming, son.
now to be fair, I have seen the load in 4K option
Have you?
on Twitter before. But I will say I don't normally see it on Nintendo photos. I'll say
I've
that.
literally never seen it before, and I'm always saving photos. So I mean,
Isn't that the new rumor? That's Switch Pro proof, right there.
I mean, yeah, but that
I don't
rumor's been going
know.
on for like what 3 years.
But
They've been talking
I'm just
about.
curious why they would do that. To me, it's obviously not in game. It's just like a super high res character model of.
It does look. It looks really good though.
That's what I'm
considering
saying. Like, why? I don't understand why they did it.
why they playing with your heart like this.
And
I
are they
don't know,
trying to
bro.
pass it off as this is what it's gonna look like? I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Oh, it would. I don't know, man. I don't know if we're gonna. I'm not. I could go into that 4K. I could go into that 4K Switch and talk, but I don't think it's worth it. We're not going into that rumor hellhole again.
See, I don't even expect a Switch Pro to be able to do what that render was looking like, though. Like, I mean, that shit was.
I hate that I'm scrolling on Twitter and one of the first things I see is retro.
You don't think it'll reach Steam Deck power?
Oh, shut up. We're not doing this. We're not doing that.
The one screenshot
Come
I saved,
on, man.
yeah, right
Let's
here.
do it.
I hate you, dog.
The only thing I can think of, I'm looking at it, someone zoomed in. It might just be like almost like a 2D texture of that hair. Like, I don't know if it's fully modeled in 3D based on the zoom in I'm looking at now, but on my phone, the image I downloaded looked super fucking clean. I was like, there's no way that's even a cutscene on Switch. So I thought it was interesting that they chose to take that game and upload 4K, like super high quality.
To be fair, that game has some of the weirdest marketing I've seen in a while from Nintendo.
That's true.
I don't understand what. It's not even that they're showing footage. They're showing like these random clips of Splatoon 3 stuff. It's that like you haven't even given me a normal trailer yet. I'm still waiting on a normal trailer for that fucking game.
Yeah, they showed one like a match the last time.
They showed 2 matches. They showed the fucking Salmon Run match, and then they
showed
yeah,
you're right.
And a split and like just a normal split zone.
Hasn't.
They call it Salmon Run.
I'm surprised the Game Manic hasn't.
I'm from the South. Fuck you, man. Say what?
I'm surprised you didn't like this image on Twitter of this octoling. This is. I think
the funniest
so might pop
the
up.
the funniest joke I saw in there was like people were like, "Oh, so I guess it's confirmed the octolings are black now. They got froze." I was like, y'all need to chill out.
Oppression and everything. No,
I'll put it in the live chat. The image
it's
that
ridiculous,
I stumbled across.
My octo brothers and sisters. I was like, why the fuck are y'all doing this? Chill out, bro. Fucking y'all so stupid. Everything fuzzy isn't an afro. Eat a dick, yo.
Didn't Bob Ross have an afro? What the fuck, bro? What you talking about?
Hey, that's a spoiler. Don't talk about that. He was white splaining. Don't talk about that, yo. Actually, it doesn't. I wouldn't say. I can see how you could. I don't know if that's a 2D image though. On top of the model, it could be. I need to see that in game in September. Ooh. Also, I forgot Fire Emblem comes out Friday.
Oh, 3 Hopes.
Yeah, Three Hopes comes out Friday. I was like,
Did
oh,
they even post any
Man, I barely even
trailer?
touched the first one.
Have they posted any trailer or anything since?
yeah.
the
There's a
reveal?
demo out for. There's a demo
There's a
out for it.
demo. Fuck.
Yeah,
Haven't
you
turned
can
my
go download
Switch
a
on
demo.
in over a month.
Have you played Fire Emblem Warriors?
If you have, it's the same
I
game.
haven't.
Though you try. Oh,
No. I'm just saying. I mean, if you
It looked better
yeah, I
than
played
Warriors.
Warriors. Yeah, I played Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought the DLC for Warriors like a dumbass.
Oh wow.
I
Check
shouldn't
it
have done it, but I did it, and I played it an extra about 10 hours. So I guess I got something out of it. What I was gonna say though, speaking of Fire Emblem, did y'all hear about that rumor that supposedly the next Fire Emblem's already done? And
Yeah.
it's been done for a year.
It's sitting next to Splatoon. It's sitting
Now-
next to Pikmin 4. So
No, but here's the thing, T. They did show footage. Well, not footage, but they showed
they got
screenshots
screenshots. Yeah,
of the character.
I saw it.
And I think it's supposed to be supposedly it's a collaboration with like it's intelligence systems. Is either Koei Tecmo or Bandai Namco. I think it's Koei Tecmo. And then that one of their smaller studios. I think it's called Gust. And I was like,
there was this kerfuffle on the Twitter sphere about certain people defending the honor of another Fire Emblem game, and some people are like, "Well, we want them to try making different games because we got enough Fire Emblem. Well, there's a lot of Nintendo franchises ain't getting no love, and this is back and forth."
it's weird though, because to me, Intelligent Systems is only really known for, at least with Nintendo stuff, is only known for two titles. It's like the Advance Wars series and Fire Emblem, right? Or am I missing one?
We just mentioned.
Intelligence. Oh, that's right. That one.
Yeah, boy.
That one's only. Well, we're what, 3 years out from 2? I mean, 3.
They only did. They didn't do 1, as far as I know.
They've only done. This is the first one they've done.
2 and 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
They did Dark Moon on 3DS.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you're getting Advance Wars later this year.
Like it's not like it's not true, that there's a lot of Fire Emblem stuff going on, and there's certain franchises that ain't getting love and whatnot, and it's like, well, the defense is intelligent systems only does this. Well, let them do something else. And they don't have to just do that. They're a competent game studio. I'm sure they can tackle something else, right?
Yeah.
That was the problem with was it Playground, who got tired of making Forza and was like, can we do something else? And then now they're doing Fable and shit. So yeah, they can do other stuff. I don't think that's an argument that just automatically needs to be shut down. But
No, I agree. It's fine, and it's
Imagine,
not like
though, how much people get burnt out playing all these Fire Emblems. Imagine the teams making them over and over and over.
Yeah, and to me, it kind of dunks on that whole premise of, well, it didn't sell well. Well, Fire Emblem didn't sell well for a long time, and Nintendo kept pushing that shit out until it sold well. So why did why did Fire Emblem get that kind of attention to where, you gonna like this shit, we're gonna keep putting this shit out till you like it. Nintendo, that's what Nintendo said.
you about to slip up and say that shit.
Why couldn't they do that with other franchises, right? Why is it okay to defend other franchises not coming out because they didn't sell well? Well, yeah, Fire Emblem didn't sell well either, and they kept pushing that shit.
I very much believe, because realistically, I also think that was a mixture of luck into that, because remember, everyone knows
there was luck.
There was
because Awakening was going to be it, right? So,
yeah, Awakening was going to be it. It's like if this doesn't sell, you get the fuck out. And I think my problem I have is that these Fire Emblem games have been beefier than the old school Fire Emblem games. Like, think about it. Awakening is probably a normal standard length, but then you get in the Fates, which is 3 games essentially wrapped into one. Then you had Echoes, which is a remake of a.
Did Awakening do that well?
Awakening did well, and hey, listen, I think it was very much you're making money. People know about your brand, know about Fire Emblem again. Fuck it, we're gonna put out something else.
You know what I'm saying? It did that well to them saying, hey, we're gonna make 3 games in one with Fates.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing is they didn't stop, because fucking Echoes come out, which was the remake. Then 3 Houses, which is fucking 3 games in one also. Then they released DLC and added another fucking house, 3 houses, and then you're talking about oh, by the way, here's another Fire Emblem title, and that's not even talking about the spin-offs with Warriors, and now we got Three
Right.
Hopes and shit. They are Fire Emblem people the fuck out. Like
Right.
it's almost staggering, dog. Like
Right. And so fans would be like, well, can't you try that with, Kid Icarus or F-Zero? Can you keep pushing the way you did with Fire Emblem? Which tell people, hey, we're putting out a Kid Icarus game. It's gonna be the last one if it doesn't do well. Do that for Kid Icarus. Do that for fucking F-Zero and see if it sells. I think it will. I think you tell people that and scare them into buying this shit, it'll sell.
the problem with the Kid Icarus situation was Sakurai had a whim and it
I'm
worked
just
out.
throwing Kid Icarus out there, but
Oh no, I'm just saying. But like, I hope that's kind of what happens with Advance Wars when the port comes out later this year. That they're like, okay, let's see how well this port does. If it does well, Intelligent Systems, you can take a break from Fire Emblem. Like, you can still have way forward do like the animations and shit, but you could have like Intelligent Systems do the battle system and shit. And it's like, all right, fuck it. Here's a new Advance Wars title. Like, if they want to shift gear, I think people would take getting a new Advance Wars over the third or fourth Fire Emblem game, because like the Switch will have 4 Fire Emblem titles, 2 mainline and 2 spinoffs. You got Warriors, 3 Hopes, 3 Houses, and whatever the fuck this new game is gonna be, which more than likely we'll probably hear about in Nintendo's E3 Direct. It's not E3, but it's in an E3 month Direct.
Yeah. The chat pointed it out, by the way. I mixed up Intelligent System the next level for some reason. I don't know.
Okay, so Next Level is the one who did
it's next level.
Okay, gotcha. But still, I understand people's point. Like, when you think about it, it's 2022. If you go back to 2012, you've gotten, just to count the games, Awakening, Awakening, Fates, Echoes, the remake of which is then you got the port of the first game that came out. And then you got Warriors, which I know technically isn't them, but it's still Fire Emblem. 3 Houses, 3 Hope. I'm missing one. And then the new game that comes out. That's 8 titles in 10 years. You've almost had a Fire Emblem game of some sort has come out almost once a year.
Well,
I will say it was safer. It was a safer bet on a 3DS as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because the 3DS, even DS afforded them to be able to do that because it was such a successful handheld. So,
but even like,
I'm sure the budget wasn't, a console's budget either. So,
no, they were definitely reusing the engine from Awakening for the other 2 games.
Right.
But if you just go off like the main releases, it'll be 3 years since 3 Houses, right? It was 2019, or 2018? Was it 2018 or 2019?
No, 2019.
It was 2019.
Because I know it went 2018 because 2018 was dry as hell.
Right. So if you just go by those, then you won't feel it. But I was just thinking that if the Zelda game doesn't come out this year, it'll be the first time in like 10 years there isn't a Zelda game in 1 year. They've had.
Did Nintendo say they wanted to put a Zelda game out every year?
I don't know, but that's what they've
been doing.
But people keep saying that shit. And I'm like, I don't remember.
The reason why people said it because they maintained it for so long.
Yeah, I don't remember Nintendo actually saying we want to put a Zelda game out.
But
that don't sound like Nintendo at all. But I hear people repeating that shit like they heard it.
They were only basing it off of the fact that Nintendo literally has put out 8 Zelda.
Okay.
I can't think of 2012 if there was, because 2013 we got Zelda. 2014 got Hyrule Warriors. 2015 was
that the 3DS?
Heroes, I believe.
Yeah, 3DS.
Heroes.
2016 feels like
it wasn't shit.
Twilight Princess HD.
No, it was Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
2017 and then 2017 Breath of the Wild. 2018
was that Link's Awakening?
Nope.
No.
Remember, 2018 was dry as fuck.
Oh wait, hold on.
I feel like there was something.
Was there a port?
There was something. Not that I remember. Maybe Hyrule Warriors Definitive.
Oh yeah, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. You're right. That was it.
And then
that one's a little weak to count, but it still
counts.
It's still
2019
Zelda.
was Link's Awakening. 2020 was.
What the fuck was 2020?
Because Skyward Sword was 2021. 2020 was. I feel like there was something. There had to have been.
There might have been some.
Was that Age of Calamity?
Oh, that's right, Age of Calamity.
Oh, was that 2020?
It was the end of 2020. It was like December. It was like December or some shit, if I remember correctly.
Yep, November 20th. Yeah,
there we go.
So since 2013, I can't think of a 2012 one.
Yeah, 2012 is the one I can't think of.
I think.
Oh, Link Between Worlds.
No,
wasn't it?
I think it was Ocarina of Time 3D.
Oh,
that might have been 2011.
That was 2011, bro.
Let's look.
What was Majora's Mask?
That was 2011 because that was the 20th anniversary.
That's 2015 was Majora's Mask.
What the fuck am I missing then?
Yeah.
2012 might have been a gap because that was the Wii U's first year.
Yeah.
And the
2011 was that because I remember like Robin Williams and his daughter and the commercials and all that shit. That was 2011.
Yeah. But still, it's been long
because it was the 20th anniversary. That was 2011. That's when they did the.
It's almost been.
All that shit.
But it's almost been 10 years that they've
if
had.
They have one this year. It'll be pretty much 10 years.
Yeah, where they've had some Zelda content come out in some way, shape, or form.
It's crazy.
25th.
You would have never thought like that you'd get some kind of Zelda game in it every year. Like,
well, what helped Zelda is that Zelda had like different types of games. It wasn't just like one. It wasn't like one title. I guess for Fire Emblem, it's only really.
What about what's that third-party game, indie game, the rhythm game?
Cadence Hyrule.
Cadence.
That's
in there somewhere. That might have been 2018.
It was. Yeah, it definitely was like 2018 to
2013 had Wind Waker HD and A Link Between Worlds, and then
that's when that came out. I knew it was around there, but I didn't know where. There was no Zelda in 2012. Hold on. Now I'm fucking curious.
I'm looking on their official page, and there's no official mainline game for sure.
Well, there was Zelda in what's the shit called for the Wii U?
Monster Hunter.
No, the fucking what's the game called? The
Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land, right? There was Zelda in that, so there was Zelda Land or whatever the shit was called.
Yep.
The only thing they even mentioned is that there was 3DS releases of Zelda games. That was it, but it was like the original games.
I do want to play Ocarina of Time 3D someday.
Donier says Cadence was 2019.
Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, I guess the thing with Zelda, and actually the same thing with Mario, they're both IPs that like have such a variety of like mainline and their spin-offs and other games and shit. Fire Emblem really has only been relegated to its main games, a remake, Kira 2, and the fucking Warrior titles, which I'm conceptually Warriors for Fire Emblem works. The problem is that the first game didn't reach from all corners of Fire Emblem like it's supposed to. And the second game is literally just Three Houses stuff. So it's like, hey, remember Three Houses? You play it like 3 years ago, and then you got the DLC like a year or so later after that. Here's more Three Houses content. And I'm like, bro, that game had 4 routes. The fuck? What do you mean?
Nothing else. It's good.
I'm tired. Like, we don't need to do it. And you got a new game that's supposedly coming out probably in the next year or so.
Take it easy, Don.
Yo, we're sitting here talking about all these years off the top of our heads. I could just see Retro Death listening and be like, how the fuck did they remember this shit?
How did they know
that? Well, Retro Death on my shit list because I scroll down Twitter and I see him complaining about them putting out Xenoblade footage. And I'm like, it's fine for you, Retro, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna start the game and then not finish it for 6 months.
You can start the game and finish it like 4 years later.
He's still gonna be playing it. So
yeah, I hated that shit. I'm like, you ain't gonna finish the game anyway this year.
You got a photographic memory. You ain't gonna remember shit. Like I started Elden Ring, paid attention to the opening cutscene, played for 160, 70 hours. Then I started New Game Plus, and I'm like, oh wait, they explained a lot in this beginning. I completely forgot everything. Like, and that was just within a few months span. Like, I'm not gonna remember some 2-second shot of something in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Direct.
Yeah. The one thing I hope they do that they need to fix from 2, give me a better fucking tutorial, because that shit in 2, man, that tutorial is.
Give me a better map.
That's just brutal, boy.
Well, I need to see the map. You're right. I need to see
that looks like an open world game. I'm gonna call it right now. That's more open world, like Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1 open world is cool, but I feel like it kind of depends on how I need to see landscapes. I think we've only really seen one or two of them in the trailers, and I'm like, I need to see more.
It's
from
very
you.
open, unlike Xeno 2. That was my biggest complaint.
Xeno 2.
It's
Xeno
so
2.
Which
is weird
because
big,
so
couple big
disappointed
areas.
as far as the open world.
Xeno 2's I think advantage over 1, at least from what I played of 1, is that Xeno 2 to me is more dense. Although it's not that I don't think Xeno 1 is not dense. I want to get that straight. But Xeno 2 had a lot of nooks and crannies that you would never have to or need to find through the main game.
Does Definitive Edition have an auto run option?
It does, but it's kind of bad. like it's one of those things you hit the up on the D-pad and it goes. But if you try to turn, because it'll literally just walk you in a straight line. So if you try to turn, it cuts it off sometimes. And I'm like,
and there's no run still, right? You can't run.
Whatever Shulk's default running speed is, he is slow as sin. It actually pisses me off sometimes because we're just
trouble
walking.
Just deciding to turn the game on after watching your game.
My problem is that I like 2 more, and 1, although has its good elements, it just doesn't captivate me in the same way.
And I don't like Shulk, so that makes it real hard.
The problem is that the problem I have is that the beginning of it's I will very much say right now, Xenoblade 2 is a lot more character focused, and that's why I enjoy it so much. Whereas like Xenoblade 1 is kind of like, we get to a section of the game that's gonna be relative to like maybe a couple characters. Once you pass that section of the game, the characters are kind of just sitting in the background for like until like some major story shit happens.
I mean, it is a Wii game, so yeah.
No. For when the system it came out on and what it is, that game is fucking amazing. And
it's still 80 megabytes of RAM there. I mean,
it's still like a super fun title and shit. Like I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the game. The problem is that Xenoblade 2 for me is like one of my favorite RPGs in the last decade. So it's hard for me to look at that game and then compare it to it and be like, I mean,
I get it. I mean, I totally understand.
It's kind of like, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what do you think? I mean, obviously they put some X into Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as well.
Yeah, you can tell I very much believe this will be the end of the Xenoblade trilogy.
You think so?
Remember, because I mean, we already know they're working on a new IP anyway.
Right.
So this will be all right. After this game, that's that saga done. They usually don't stay on the saga, even when they were doing like Xenogears
and moving to Xeno Princess or whatever they're doing over there.
Yeah, like they'll keep the Xeno part probably, but usually they usually maybe 3 or 4 games, and I think it's just 3 games realistically. And
I'm trying to think of Xenogears. There's only 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought is it Xeno Saga I'm thinking of?
Oh, Xeno Saga, yeah.
And I heard that game was supposed to be longer, and they had to cut it down because they didn't. I think those were supposed to be like 5 episodes or some shit. So I could easily see them being like, this 3 is it. Because honestly, a lot of people thought, I think we thought that the next game we would see from Monolith Soft would be the new IP they were talking about.
What I thought, yeah.
So I think I think what they want to do is just finish off Xenoblade. And I'm like, cool, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
I'm just fucking, man, to me, it's kind of like when your favorite game is like, give you an example, your favorite game is like Breath of the Wild, and you're excited about Breath of the Wild too, but you're also fucking terrified because it's like,
right. You're like,
how is that
going to be able to live up to what that
yeah. And for Xenoblade, shit, dude, like that's a 100-hour game, bare minimum. Like that's the bare minimum you got to do.
Right.
You got to prevent me with a 100-hour adventure that engages me the entire time. And God, I don't know, bro. Like,
yeah, they've done it for every one of them. I mean, even though 2 isn't my favorite, I was engaged the entire time I was playing it. So,
and 1's been engaging.
A lot.
I'm on the Bionis's right shoulder and shit.
Yeah.
That fucking cutscene with Dunban and Moonkar and them fucking dude, that shit was ridiculous. I was like, I want to go. I think I've said it like 3 times in stream. I'm like, bro, I want to go back and watch the Wii version of this cutscene because I'm driving. Hey, no way, hell, y'all were doing
How they pull this shit off?
Yeah, I don't know how y'all doing fight choreography like this on
the
the fucking
Wii.
Wii.
What about the 3DS?
Yeah, actually, that is kind of ridiculous. Now I think about it.
Some 3DS too.
Some of the cutscenes, I'm just like, how in the fuck are y'all doing this on the damn Wii? Like, this is nuts. But I don't want to go look because I'm afraid I'm gonna run into a spoiler.
That fucking game.
Oh no, Monolith Soft is pretty much nailed open world development for me, especially with the help with Zelda. I'd be very curious to see because I think they said their next IP is supposed to be like more of a fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be very curious how they would change, if the design would change at all. So I'm looking forward to that. But as far as Wednesday's Direct is concerned, I don't even know. I just want to see more footage. I think that's
what time is it?
It's in the morning, I think, East or West Coast.
Is it? Hold on. I had Twitter up.
I thought it was like 9 a.m.
So 12 here.
Could be wrong. Could be wrong.
I had Twitter up like a second ago.
You know what's crazy is like, I said this when they switched the date when we thought it was gonna be September. I was like, I don't need it in July. Like I wasn't planning on, and I still like I'm not changing anything. I'm still just gonna try to get through Horizon, and then hopefully start the definitive edition of the original first. So I might not even play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 till later in the year. We'll see. Depends on how well received and how much you guys are raving about it. I might have.
Well, I'm gonna get started on that biz right away because I start too late on these Xenoblade games and shit takes me forever. So I'm gonna. This is gonna be the second one because the first one I played day one. Xenoblade Chronicles I played that day one. This will be the one that I played day one as well.
Also, yeah, it's at 10 o'clock in the morning for us.
Oh, 10 in the morning for us.
Yeah, because it's 7 a.m.
Jeez, why are you doing that?
It's only 20 minutes.
To cover Europe and
probably.
But they didn't do 7 a.m.
Yeah, I mean that is early. It's only supposed to be 20 minutes in too. That's what throws me off. I'm like, bro,
right, can you do 9 a.m. maybe?
Still 20 minutes of just that game. I mean,
that's
still quite a bit.
Should be yeah.
I'm gonna be fucking.
Is Retro Duck gonna watch?
Nope, he already said he's not going to. He said he hasn't even watched some of the trailers that have come out now. I'm like, bro,
man. Again, the game is 100 hours.
They're not. Trust Nintendo not to show you something that's gonna be some.
Yeah,
massive.
they're not gonna be.
Yeah, even when they did that direct for Xenoblade 2, they only showed Gormod, I think, through that whole fucking thing. It was like Gormod and maybe some of Uriah, and it was none of the story cutscenes. It was just gameplay. Like I think we're good.
You've been out of shape about spoilers and shit, bro.
Retro is the last person to talk about fucking spoilers because it's the same guy that'll wait 3 years to play a video game.
Like, what you want people to wait for?
And then be like, Juice, why are you spoiling me in the chat?
You can't talk about the game because you guys ain't played it in 3 years. What the fuck? That shit ain't fair to us.
It's like talking to a Final Fantasy fan talking about, like, did you know Aerith died? Oh man, that's spoilers. Like, what? The fuck?
I got a little mad about that Starlink shit. I'm like, bro, we've been making fun of that shit forever. Like,
I don't know I don't understand why that was a big deal. Anyway,
that shouldn't be a sticking point. We do that. We all people. How many times you guys got on me about Mario Maker, my Mario Maker levels and shit? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Mario Maker levels, bro.
Yeah, that's just innocent jabbing at that point.
Yeah.
You got to take some of that. But I will say the good news is that if that rumor of the Direct being on the end of this month is true, they probably won't. That means you won't see any Fire Emblem 3 Hope shit in there because the game will be out this Friday.
Yeah.
They probably won't talk about Xenoblade 3 like that because we're getting a Direct now. The only game they'll probably bring up is fucking Splatoon 3, which honestly needs a fucking proper trailer because I don't know what the fuck we've been watching up to this point.
And,
yeah, it's been kind of all over the place.
And other than that, Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. The Pokemon Company usually puts out like
they usually single player.
They usually put out new trailers for Pokemon games like around summer, so I'm surprised we haven't seen anything else.
What else? Other than Splatoon 3, and I feel like this with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 switching, kind of changed the landscape for this. For
The only other
last few
game-
months of the year.
The only couple of games we know about is Mario & Rabbids is supposed to come out this year at some point.
Damn, I keep forgetting about Mario plus Rabbids.
Did they
That
release
one's
the
good.
Advance Wars?
That's my most anticipated
And
shit of the year. bro.
Advance Wars is the other title. Yeah, Advance Wars is the other one we know is coming out this year.
See, when it was Xenoblade, Pokemon, and it feels like one other game we were.
Splatoon 3.
Well, we were thinking like July for that. I feel like Breath of the Wild 2 before they pushed that.
Yeah.
Then I was like, there's no room for anything. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do feel like there is room for something.
The only thing we need is I need another Bayo trailer with a release date, and that needs to come out in like fucking October. That would be the better date for it.
I mean, I honestly think there's room for even like a new 3D Mario, something to that scale. I mean, you just
Where the fuck?
I say just, but you got Splatoon 3, which has its audience,
Bayonetta 2 or Bayonetta 3 demo,
and then you have Pokemon. I mean, that's a kind of, there's definitely room for another genre, another type of game in there.
You could okay, so Pokemon comes out in November, Splatoon comes out in September. October, I want to give Bayonetta. So if you're gonna throw out a Mario, either it's got to share a month with one of those games, or I can't see them putting it out in December though.
I can't see
Mario
Bayonetta 3 making it out. I'm just saying.
So you essentially would say
Nintendo
Mario
could have, if they have a game, the 3D Donkey Kong game. Remember that last year?
Oh man.
People are all in on that.
Well, and the other thing is now we got this fucking rumor of the Fire Emblem title, and I'm just like, are they gonna fucking put that
after
out
Kirby, man? Come on, let's get it. Let's get 3D Donkey Kong.
I forgot about
Actually,
Kirby.
that wouldn't be bad.
Play that.
Oh, you haven't played Kirby yet, huh?
I played the demo. Actually, I went back to the demo, and I know the game's, everybody says it's good, but I did say something. Clocked it, raved about it once he beat it. I was like, really? I didn't hear too much from the people I follow, other than after that demo.
I haven't beat it yet, but it is fantastic.
Is it?
I love it. It might be my favorite Kirby game of all.
It also depends on how much 2023 content they put in that direct too. That's the other question. Because is it just gonna be the rest of this year? Or you gonna throw some shit in for next year?
There'd be no reason to, because they'll have a September direct. They always do.
Yeah, but they've done that before. They've randomly been like
November direct.
They usually have like one or two titles that end up being next year or some shit.
If you're gonna give the release date for Breath of the Wild sequel, I'd say do that more at the end of the year.
Actually, yeah, either that or if they want to do some Game Awards shit.
What was another
release date for Bayonetta, man?
Yeah, I feel like there was another 2023 game that they kind of confirmed, but I can't.
Oh, they did. What the fuck was it? Hold up.
Maybe I was thinking of when Splatoon was announced, and that was.
What's that storybook game that's coming out?
Doing Alive or not Live?
No, there's a game where like you start off in a storybook and you end up in like a 3D fucking. It's like a 2D side scroller at first because it's like on a. What is that shit called? It was just announced like a week ago.
Was it like an Xbox showcase? Oh, it was on Switch?
Yeah. It's also on Switch, but it's on everything, I think. And I'm like, that game is not going to look like that on Switch, bro. Like, what I saw, because Nintendo put out like a official trailer from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Put like the same video on all the channels, Sony, Xbox.
Yeah, because like, that is not going to look like that on Switch. No way.
Sometimes you can tell they captured the Switch footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. And then sometimes they just fucking lie.
Yeah, the indie game that's on Devolver. Hey, it's RJ.
It's not neon white. What the fuck is it? Hold on.
That's another thing. I saw a clip of that.
It's like Pulp something, or what's it called?
Their little presentation, Devolver. Like, I'm sorry, Clocked It in retro. I think even.
Oh, is it Plucky Squire?
Yes, Plucky Squire. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that shit looks amazing, bro.
I didn't watch it. I can't. Something about their way what they're going for with their humor and their little E3
I love Devolver, man.
To me, that's total cringe. I can't even make
really?
it 2 minutes.
Really?
That shit is try hard to be funny that it just don't work for me.
I don't think they're trying hard. I think they're really good at tapping into the cringeness of the other gaming.
Yeah, see, to me that's not my type of humor. It has no effect on me. but so I didn't see anything.
I love the like super duper early duper access. You know, like the game's barely fucking. It's like the game is like in fucking like pre alpha.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you can get in on it early.
It's
Just
a lot
pay
of like
us.
meta
Like,
commentary
that
about the
shit's
gaming
hilarious
industry.
to me. That shit is hilarious.
Yeah, they love their meta commentary about the games industry.
I love it.
I'm definitely the odd man out then.
Also, Plucky Squad, I can see what you're saying, T.
It's awesome.
When I first watched it, I'm like, oh, the 2D sections, oh, they can do that in fucking.
Oh yeah,
they can
yeah.
do-
But then
And then it goes 3D, and I'm
yeah,
like,
whoa.
oh no. Also, real quick, when the fuck was that Bayonetta trailer? Just to remind myself, how long has it been? It just popped.
The Bayonetta trailer that reminded me of fucking.
Oh, that was September
Devil's
last
Third.
year.
Like Devil's Third and shit.
I was gonna say November, but yeah, September direct.
Yeah, September's direct. So it hasn't been a full year yet, but it's been close to it.
That shit like it had Devil's Third character models in it. I'm like,
Yeah,
You know what? The problem with 3, at least based off of that cutscene, is that they're putting it back in like realistic world, and that was the first game's problem. That weird grunge.
Yeah, but it has
that-
a cell
had that old Unreal Engine look. I don't like that shit.
It has like a cell shaded layer almost on it too at times.
Yeah, it kind of does.
The
good news is that it looks a little bit better than one's grungy ass look, but it's obvious that
What's the Ninja Theory game that
Ninja,
I
which
fucking
one?
love?
Enslaved.
Enslaved. That's my one gripe with that fucking game. That Unreal Engine look. I don't like. Yeah, the visuals of it sometimes is just like, oh, that shit is rusty. That shit don't look right.
Same with what was that Platinum game where everything was just like
Unreal Engine 3 look.
You talking about Babylon Fall or
no, the 360 generation Vanquish. It just has that.
Oh.
Vanquish. Yeah, Vanquish.
It has
is-
that ridiculous
Vanquish.
bloom look.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 3 bloom shit, and it just doesn't look that good. But yeah, Bayonetta 3, they need to show me more.
They
I was
gotta
excited
show
to see something, but the more I've watched that trailer a few more times. Recently, I watched it, and I'm just like, it's just one area, like one small area where everything looks. I think it's the same thing you're fighting every time, and then just one shot of like regular, your usual enemies you see over and over. And
So development hell, yes or no?
I think so, because the director left like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago.
Right.
And, our producer, director, whoever has more, I think it was the director. And then their not so great release of Wonderful 101 port after getting all that money from the
backers.
Yeah, I don't know what's
and then
going on with
Babylon's
Platinum.
Fall.
They're so unfocused. I don't know what's up with them, bro.
Well, they built that like brand new building, and wanted to do self-publishing and stuff, and it's like
that has not worked out well.
so far they
No.
haven't delivered on anything. So
Platinum Games is one of those developers that kind of needs to have somebody bring them in to some extent.
They need some direction. They need somebody reining their ass.
Scalebound, when was that canceled? 2015?
15?
Oh, that was 2015.
I think it's 16 or 17.
Yeah,
Was
you
it?
might be right.
I want to say 16. Let's look it up.
I'll go
Yeah,
with
16.
16.
Hold on. We can look real quick. Let's see.
And then they had Nier.
It might
That
it
was
might have
really
been 17.
It was. This was.
Retro's gonna be mad
It
if I'm right.
looked like it was 2017.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2017. I think.
It didn't feel like it had been that fucking. Yeah, because all the news outlets are it's 2017, so that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And they kind of fucked that up.
So, yeah,
People
they-
still want that to come back. Bring back? Nah, man.
Since Bayonetta 2,
I don't know why. You can tell it was very much just trying to be Xbox's DMC.
Yeah, that's all it was.
the dragon, then they had this giant. It's like Platinum gets more power, and what they do is they just fucking overdo it again with each new
I
system.
just remember the scene where the
To
guy
be-
would
to- To be
shoot
fair,
arrows
I
at the
think
dragon. It was just like so ineffectual.
Remember when like in a cave?
because realistically it would be ineffectual.
Yeah.
It would make no
You're
sense.
flying 4 people or 3 people on a dragon, all of a sudden this giant fucking enemy. It's like, why do you gotta make it so huge that that game ain't gonna run? Like, just scale it back a little bit. Have a
Well,
south
from what I mean, to be fair,
Scale bound.
to be fair, To be fair, that was the argument supposedly Microsoft and them were having, is that they wanted to implement things like online and fucking multiplayer and shit. And they were like, bro, we're just trying to make like, I think that was them. I think Kamiya really wanted to make like a focused game, and Xbox.
Yeah, when they had the
Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, that was fucking. Wasn't that with Square? Isn't that a?
Yeah, with Square.
Yeah.
It's like, didn't you guys see the writing on the wall with fucking fuck it's called? Like just
Scalebound?
Scalebound. Didn't you see the writing on the wall with Scalebound? You want us to do some online
and
shit?
they're like
incorporate?
the week it came out, there was four or 10, users at any given point on that game on PC. Like
Yeah, that was
Four.
a fucking.
congruent.
That was a poor choice of options.
And then they had the nerve to put out a roadmap for the DLC.
And no one gave a fuck.
What's that?
Nobody
feel
gave
like
a-
when you know
nobody
no one
gave
gives
any
a shit,
type
but
of
you
fuck.
still gotta like. I hate to say like artists they have their 15 minutes of fame, and then the
Shame.
I like how you about to
I
say
was
shame.
like,
Shame. 50 minutes of shame, right?
like watching Lorde do interviews for her new album when I'm not a fan. I only know the one song, but I watched her on Hot Ones, and I was like, Lord, let me look up.
Well,
And she had like this. Her second album came out, had no hits, and then another album. But you can still bounce back. But it's just, what does that feel like knowing that there isn't that excitement?
well, she waited too goddamn long for one, and you got two other chicks out there that sound just like you now.
Yeah.
I can't remember their names right now, but they. Well, one of them's what the fuck is that girl?
If you listen to Alt Nation on SiriusXM, there's a lot
You're
of
not talking
females
about Adele,
that
are
sing
you?
the same.
No. They're young girls. They're both of them. One, I think she has like she says. I don't want to say she has like an Hispanic name. I can't remember her name.
Well, I'm not going.
But one is like Lizzie or Lenny or fuck. I can't remember.
I mean,
Lizzie Lenny.
it's like,
Lizzie Lenny. That's her.
and you know that they know, just like movies, like they see the pre-order sales, and I'm sure for album sales there probably isn't pre-orders or songs, but it just sucked to have to promote something no one cares about.
Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah, that's
she's
what you mean.
huge.
Okay.
Totally jacked
Yeah.
Lord style. Totally
Exactly.
jacked.
And she's
So-
like the biggest artist in the world. Like
Right.
she's just a goofy kid too. It's like her and Post Malone are just goofy. You never think that they would be like songwriters, singers, and be like the top of the top. It's just crazy. But anyway, the point was like having to promote something like a movie is getting bombed reviews and no ticket sales. It's just got to be a bad feeling to have to promote
definitely.
that stuff and act like I mean, you never know. Like with a music artist, I just seen or heard a song that
Lana Del Rey's the other one. Sorry, Lana Del Rey.
yeah, like
I forgot about her.
Simple Plan was a band back in mid 2000s.
I love Simple Plan.
They had a really successful album. Well, I guess they got a new song out, and it's like in the indie charts, it's like #1. And I'm like, man, who knew? Like, who knew they were still a band, still together?
Really?
Yeah. The last time I
crazy.
heard them was 2006, 7, and 8.
Who?
Simple Plan.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like the.
I didn't know they were still together.
Yeah,
Me
that's
neither, bro.
So anyway, Platinum. I hope they can turn. I hope like Bayonetta 3 is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Just
That whole situation was weird because it was like we're waiting on Bayonetta 3. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna shadow drop Astral Chain. By the way,
But yeah, don't forget about Astral Chain.
yeah,
though.
that was
such a-
I didn't
that
love
was
it,
a-
but that was a solid game by them.
that was.
sure.
It's a weird transition we went through. It was like we're still waiting on Bayo 3, but let me shadow drop a game real quick.
Terrell. You know what you need to do when Bayonetta 3 release date gets announced? You're like, oh man, I gotta get back into Astral Chain before Bayonetta 3 comes out and post it on Twitter.
Bruh.
You got 5 hours in the game, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. You know
If you ain't beat that game by now, bro.
The problem wasn't even the game itself. It's just some games it takes me like hell. Xenoblade 1 is the same problem. Some games it just takes you a couple hits to be like, all right, I fuck with it. But it's gonna take me a minute.
I will say,
Which one do you beat first?
What?
Which not Xenoblade. I don't know why I'm thinking about we're talking about Platinum. Bayonetta, which one you beat first?
Oh no, I played the first one, but I played it on the PS3, so it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't the most optimal experience. But yeah, I played the first one.
Ooh, the PS3 version. Ooh.
It's man, some of them fights are fucking ridiculously impossible on that console.
Yeah.
And then I went back and replayed it on Switch and went, this game really reuses a bunch of fucking assets and fucking level design. Like, yeah, this actually was way more of a budget title than people want to really give it credit for. Like, they didn't have no real money.
Retread a lot of Bayonetta 1.
Yeah, Bayonetta 1.
Shredders yet? When I was gone.
TMNT. So I got that. I played that on my birthday. We kind of went through the whole like story mode for it. Game is fucking great. Music is great.
It's great.
Why? Yeah.
Juice.
I don't think he's played it, has he?
Oh, you haven't played it?
If I'm gonna play that game, it's gonna be with you guys. So
yeah.
I have it on PC because I have no problem going back over and playing it because I got to level up.
Maybe it's the Sega kid in me.
Don't do it.
I remember there being a big kerfuffle about which one's better. Is it Streets of Rage 2 or is it Turtles in Time? And I'm like, Streets of Rage 2 is better than me, but and I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about Streets of Rage 4 versus this is my own versus battle versus Shredder's Revenge, and I'm like,
have you played it?
Apparently, there's a lot of
Streets of Rage 4, cuz.
Digital Foundry. He pointed out there's a lot of depth to the. It's not just a.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth to combat. I will give it that.
Yeah,
there's some
and
crazy.
He pointed out
Did you get he does that thing where you get new moves as you're going through the levels and shit. And some of the fucking things you can do are nuts. Actually, the Turtles have team attacks that you would never know about unless you play in multiplayer and shit. Because they'll
that's not my problem. The combat is great. I just think the levels and the level design is not what I was expecting. I was expecting more. I was expecting more.
Yeah, I will say it's pretty by the numbers for the kind of game.
It's so by the numbers, and I'm like,
it is by the numbers.
It does
has a couple of racing levels, a couple of like surfing levels, and everything else is just run down a corridor. You beat up some enemies. There's cool secrets and shit. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
there's secrets. There's even some side stuff you can do. But like the core level is literally what you would expect out of any other beat 'em up. Like
I was expecting more on that stuff. I was expecting
that's
to go
definitely a nostalgia game for me because the arcade game is my favorite beat 'em up.
And it's cool because it has like the overworld from like Turtles 1, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that was my most fondest memory ever playing a beat 'em up game. Was playing the arcade.
The other thing I don't like is that you don't so you unlock characters. You can unlock characters once you beat the story once.
Yeah.
So the only characters you get access to are obviously the 4 Turtles, Splinter, and April. And when you beat the game, at least when I beat the game the first time, I got Casey Jones.
Casey's in there, yeah.
And I was like, oh, why did you put him under unlock? I would have fucking gone. I would have had so much fun running around with Casey.
Because those games are meant to be played over and over.
Oh no, they are.
Oh yeah.
You had to level up the Turtles all level 10, and I think through my first playthrough, I only got Leonardo up to like 6 or 7.
Is that that's who you rock with first?
Leonardo was my favorite turtle.
I'm Donnie all day. I'm Donnie.
I was like,
hey, that doesn't surprise me at all. Surprisingly,
all we need is a Raphael player, and we're good.
The only
no Raphael players out there.
Actually, ironically enough, we had the same problem when I played it last week. No one wanted to be Raphael. They picked. I picked Leo. My friend picked Mikey, Donatello, and Splinter. That was it.
He's got the worst range, and I think that's why people don't like it. Because basically the side blades just kind of spin in his hand. Well, at least I haven't played it this game, but
his hitbox is the shortest because his
hitbox. Yeah,
it's like it's almost like you're just doing a jab or something.
And obviously, Donnie and Leo's is the best. So.
Oh yeah, also this fucking jump attack is him spinning his side blades like a fucking clock, and I'm like, let's go. You got these crazy fucking supers and shit where you become God for like a few seconds. Oh man, it's great.
I'm curious. Why did you peg me as a Donnie guy? I'm curious.
Intellectual.
Oh, okay. I always related to Donnie because he was a smart one. He was the gadget one. I always liked that shit. So
yeah, that's why I said it was either gonna be Donnie or it was gonna be.
I just like the nunchucks, so I was always Michael. That was the first.
And I'm a bow. I don't know if me using a bow staff came before Donnie. Probably not. I think Donnie got me into using bow staff. Like I I'm a bow staff dude. I can literally.
I should go get my
fight with a
box
bow
of
staff.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'm good with a bow staff. So
And you'll
You
see
should.
my
I think-
Michelangelo. He's like
What's that?
completely worn out. He was the one I got first.
So
and then
that
he's
so
like,
that's all. So he's always been your favorite, then.
Mhm.
I'm guessing.
I'm gonna grab.
well, you
some.
love Michelangelo. He's just a funny one. So,
Man, that Leo is just my bro, dude. I like.
Leo's just a calm, cool, collected leader. You know, like
Now, depending on which iteration of him you watch, he's even cooler. But like for me, I'm a huge fan of like.
so zen. You
Yeah,
gotta love-
I fuck with the samurai lifestyle
So
and the way of the blade and honor.
My favorite thing in 6th grade that I got for Christmas or whenever I got it all year, I brought it to school and everything. Look at this thing.
Yo!
Look how
Yeah.
this thing's giant.
Nice.
Here's the
Nice.
thing. You know what? You know the sad part though is for me, the '80s version of the Turtles not even my favorite version of the Turtles. That's what makes me mad about it. Like it's if you're an '80s fan of the Turtles, this game very much. Is
Well,
a
I
love
grew up with
letter.
those, so that's why they're my
Can't
favorite.
See,
remember
but for
if I had
me-
to repaint parts of this or not.
My favorite is the 2003 version. That's the one I love a lot. Because I think that one actually sticks to the comics the most, and I fucking this
Yeah.
Turtles has some great ass storylines. Motherfuckers be thinking,
This
oh,
dude's
just
ripped.
fuck.
If Robert was looking, he'd be looking at those biceps there.
Hey man, listen, them Turtles be throwing
He's
hands. He thick.
I wonder if that thing's worth anything. Like I just had to have it. I was like, I want
could
that.
be.
I brought it
Turtles
to
women
school,
very-
and everybody thought it was
Yeah.
lame. I was 6th grade carrying a doll around.
That's
Didn't
because
care.
motherfuckers didn't
It's not a
respect
dog, it's
it.
an action figure.
No, yeah.
Exactly. It's a collectible.
It'd have been sweet if I had all 4 of them, but I don't even know if they made all 4. They
I would
probably
assume
did.
I'm sure
made
they
all
did.
4.
Yeah, I've had that since let's see, 31 years. I think I've had that.
Wow.
That looks really good condition for a 31
That is
year
great.
old.
I didn't really
Well,
play-
talking
there
about
ain't much you
Terminator
can
shit
do.
there. This man puts this shit in the museum.
There ain't much you can do with this
When
giant turtle.
when
to be
he
honest.
dies, that shit will be immaculate.
Every fucking thing he sent me is always fucking pristine. That shit is clean as hell, bro.
You'd be like, the fuck did you get this from a store? What
Dude,
the
it's
fuck?
literally, I mean, it's covered in dust, but I mean, it's just been up there for the last like 10 years. And,
what was it? Shadow Man, 64, fuck. What did I buy from
Eternal
you?
Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. That shit looked like I just bought that bitch out the store. That bitch so clean. I was like, God dang. How do you do this?
Well, Shadow
How do you
Man,
do
I only probably put my N64 twice. I was just not
Yeah.
feeling that game, so. And I just was lucky enough. I put it in a bag with other stuff, and it never got dropped or stepped on. You know, just. But now I have it in Rubbermaid storage. You know, it's harder, more protection.
Shit is hella clean.
Hey man, I'm glad you respect the shit you own, because most people don't.
That's true.
Well, I just sent back 3 in-wall speakers that I had in my wall for like 3 weeks, and you know, you cut an opening in the drywall, and of course it was all over. But I spent at least 30 minutes on each one cleaning, because they told me that as long as it's original packaging and no damage, they'd give me credit. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take an extra step. I fucking cleaned, wiped it down, got the drywall dust off, and put them in the bag exactly how they were, and sent them back today. And I have no doubt they're gonna issue credit. They always have to tell you though if there's anything missing that they can refuse it. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's just liability.
Everything was in there for sure, and I was just like, I wonder if this guy's gonna open this and be like, did this motherfucker even put these in the wall?
Shit. When your shit's that pristine, that's the first thing you thinking. The fuck did he even use these?
I love when I get used shit that looks like that, like the fucking GameCube I just bought, the Spice Orange.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is mad clean, and it shouldn't be, because the guy took out the fucking disk drive out of it. He said he took it out because he could sell. He got a great deal and somebody wanting it, and he sold it for a pretty decent price. But for him having gone and opened that bitch up, that bitch is so clean, like it just came off the fucking shelf. Like this shit is at least 22 years
Did you
old.
get it working the way you were gonna, how you were gonna?
I haven't
use
done it yet. I'm gonna do a video. I'm actually gonna do it tonight, later tonight, because I want to show people me putting the GC loader in and all that cool stuff.
So you
So
put like a SD card slot on it or something. How does it?
yeah,
Or a
well
hard
yeah,
drive?
it's plug and play. So you pull out the fucking
Disk drive.
You pull out the disk drive or whatever, and there's like there's a little slot or whatever for that, and the GC loader is slot and it goes right into that same slot that the disk drive comes
That's
out.
crazy.
And then if you want to, you don't have to. You can also purchase. I did purchase the kit that allows you to basically have an SD card. So it looks clean, like it comes up and it comes up into. And so it's shaped like your disk drive, the GameCube that it used to be. So it's like what do you call it? What's that called?
Card reader?
No, what's the laser print? What is it called?
Oh, like 3D printed?
3D print. So they 3D printed like it's a disc tray basically. The laser is so it's shaped like the laser, and it comes up and it has like you can just put your SD cards right down into the slots. So it makes it cleaner. You don't have to do it that way, but they offer that as well. It was only $23 for the kit.
Do you need to use the memory cards with that or not?
No, you can use your own memory cards with it. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, like if you want to take it to a friend's house, remember that was a thing?
I never did.
You can still, nobody does that shit. You can still load it to a memory card if you want, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. You can put anything. Obviously, you can put like a terabyte SD card in there and load everything from GameCube's library right there, and not have to dig out your discs. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
there's some stuff that I'm not gonna pay, like Gotcha Force. I'm not buying that shit. That's just like $400. I'm not buying that game, but I want to play it. But so I'll play it that way.
Yeah, you can play Sunshine anytime you want now. You know.
Oh yeah. But it's cool because you're using the actual GameCube hardware. And it's not like a Dolphin emulator or anything like that. So
I seen I forget Forbes or somebody. It said somebody was doing N64 games with widescreen, 60 FPS with advanced lighting and stuff. And I clicked on the article. They didn't have any videos or anything. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of where I lean towards. I don't mind the option to play just take the original game, make it widescreen, make it run at 60 as long as it doesn't fuck anything up. Yeah. And just have the still be the game and not some fan creation.
That doesn't work for me.
So yeah, that's
what I've tried that.
I'd rather do that than pay $60 for fucking a remake with better visuals or something,
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd be happy if Nintendo, the Switch probably isn't capable of doing it, but let's say next generation or something, they did like they took Mario 64 and the only thing they did was adjust the textures to work with reflections and stuff and added like super advanced lighting. And I was like, man, I mean, it's still the same blurry textures and stuff. I think they did clean up his character model they took the one from Odyssey or Galaxy. And I was like, I mean, that's Mario 64. Just add some advanced lighting, and that really does change.
You know who can do that? Steam Deck can do that shit. And the native PC port of because they reverse engineered Mario 64, and so there's like a native PC port with all kinds of mods and shit. That shit looks. I think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'd be happy with the official release of that. Like.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm looking at. Like what they're doing with The Last of Us Part 1 is like, yeah, now that I see the side-by-side, it's obviously brand new character models, but you're still playing the exact same game. So if I'm going to play the exact same game, and let me just play the exact same game, but maybe have some way to enhance it, like widescreen support or something. I mean, something small like that can go a long way, because, I mean...
I can see widescreen support, because I like using that. Obviously, when I do widescreen, it's mostly stretching the fucking image. It's not great. But
now I'm like fucking zoomed in my theater room. So when if I put 16:9 content, it spills above and below, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't even care. I'm not taking time to zoom out. Like.
Yeah. So I just read Lenny's comment about if you want to play Sunshine, you can still get the Super Mario All-Star Collection.
That's so true.
I have it. I'm waiting on my chance to sell that shit for a decent price.
I got my money. I sold it to the guy at work.
What'd you get? Like $10?
I made $10 total on the two, but that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Let's see
Well,
if it's still available on in Best
I'll
Buy.
hold out. I'm holding out.
Super
If I have to hold out
Mario
years for it, it's not gonna hurt
All-Stars.
me.
$59.99. Add to cart. Pick up on Wednesday. They don't have it in store in my store, but still,
For what?
I can pick it up. Super Mario
I
3D
can sell it
or
for $2 million.
Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Oh,
I can get it.
I can sell it for $2 million in 20 years.
I can get it in 2 days. They still have it. At Best
yeah. It's
Buy.
gonna be a while before that shit gets rare.
I had something in my cart.
Yeah, I mean they probably they sold like 10 million copies of that shit.
I know. It was low ball for a Mario game.
Yeah.
They expected 30 million on the first week.
But I think I think about covered everything.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, after all the E3 stuff, it's just been
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what the
There
fuck?
is no E3. What you talking about?
fine. People at this point, people are like, we need Nintendo to come in here and save the day because this is some shit.
They always say that, though, every year.
You know why I said that? Why is that? There's a reason why it's said, Juice.
Yeah, but they never really do it, do they?
I don't think their directs haven't been, like, sensational since...
No.
I think 2016 was their last, like... And that was just
But
the
when
Breath
you-
of the Wild one.
The problem is they go last. When you go last, more pressure is
Yeah.
put on you. It's like,
But
listen,
even
But Nintendo always goes last.
2017, you know, they teased Metroid Prime and the new Pokemon, but they really didn't. I mean, we already seen Odyssey. It was still great to see more, but
Yeah.
you know, they were like pumping.
A 3D Donkey Kong, another surprise. That would be enough.
like a
yeah,
3D
because you already got a bunch of shit coming out anyway.
something like the 3D Kirby game reveal. You know, something to that level. From that to like a new, you know, Mario or something, 2D or 3D.
Yeah,
Which would be pretty big. I mean, a new 2D Mario, like a completely new take on a 2D Mario that'd be pretty huge. It's like, how do you not do it? You got the Switch. That game's guaranteed to sell 30 million if they would have it, if they had it, and it could be out, you know, next year or this year.
Real quick, Persona coming to Switch? Yes or no?
No.
I don't want to do this, T.
If there's if enough people are interested,
There's enough people interested.
I'll put it this way.
110 million sales on console.
I'll put it this way.
For enough people
I'm gonna put it. I'll put it this way. If it doesn't get announced, Atlas is a piece of shit. That's
just ridiculous.
That's
Like,
fucking stupid.
I don't care either way, but it's bullshit. Like, come on.
Listen. It don't make no fucking sense. I still want to put this in context. That Strikers, the spinoff game for 5 that has plot in it,
Right.
That's on Switch for some dumbass reason, but not the game that it comes from. We still don't have just P5. What the fuck? And then people are also pissed off that the version of P3 they're using is the PSP version and not the
Yeah, what the fuck are they doing? It's not the Vita version. What the fuck they doing?
They chose the PSP version, which doesn't have all the content that was added in. I think there's a second version on PS2 that was called Fez that has all the extra shit in it, and they were like,
"Oh,
nah,
that's right. Yeah, that's right."
So they used the PSP version instead of Fez, and people were just like, "Well,
why y'all doing this?"
And here's the problem with the PSP version: it's a visual novel at that point. It's not even like most of it. You're not even really in 3D, other than the dungeons. I think are 3D. That's it. So they're like, "Oh, well, guess we don't get to walk around town and talk to people." Then all right, fine, bet. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, what the fuck, dog? Just Atlas, I just need you to get your shit. You're like Sega right now. Get your shit together. That's all I need from you. Damn, it's just a port. I'm not even asking you for a new game.
Port. It can't be that hard to do that.
I'm sorry. I'm checking out. I just don't care about Persona.
He doesn't care.
I know. I know. I know he doesn't care.
Dude is like you
checking
during
Twitter.
movie talk, bro.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, interested in this Monster Hunter footage that a couple people are posting. I'm like, that game does have some really fucking.
I gotta get back into
great.
Talking about Rise?
Yeah.
I gotta get back into Rise.
That Capcom thing
looks pretty damn good.
I was a little mad that Capcom Presents didn't show any RE4 footage like that.
Well, they showed a few seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wanted at least, maybe the beginning section or something.
I almost want to start over with my Steam Deck.
And Robert got his play date. I was like, he's like, I got my play date.
I'm so jealous, man.
And I'm like,
jealous.
You know what I was like, because it didn't click with me. I was like, what's her name? You got a play date? I was thinking he met a girl who's playing games. They're gonna play games together. And then, that thing. I had forgotten that thing existed.
I like how you got that thing.
And I only remembered the little crank.
She's a wonderful lady, Juice Jesus.
It's a beautiful time right now because you got shit like Playdate coming out. What's that fucking retro console that has like Data East games? There's like a home version and there's like a handheld version of it, and they're updating the handheld one.
I don't know.
What the fuck is it called? There's like all these cool little fucking consoles coming out now, man. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm trying to load my Amazon because I got it in my queue. Yeah, the Evercade. Fucking and it's like, it's like real games on a fucking cartridge. And they're old games, but it has like a console version and then it has like a handheld. And now they're updating the handheld version, which looks really cool. And you got the Playdate, and you got the fucking Steam Decks, and you got all the Iron Odins and all this other shit coming. This is a good time, man. Like there's so many opportunities.
Switch Pro coming.
Yeah, Switch Pro.
PS5 Pro.
Iron those shits are like $1,400. I'm like, God dang.
Jesus Christ!
How you $1,400 and run worse than the Steam Deck? I don't, I don't get that shit at all. Like that shit's crazy. But
all right, well, I think we'll get out of here and
good time to be a gamer though. Good time.
Good time to be doing projects where I can't game. I mean,
yeah.
2018 would have been a good time to do this. Not.
Yeah.
It was dry as hell.
I haven't gotten anywhere as much gaming as I wanted to.
Joe, you're gonna be busy, distracted.
I plan on getting 20 games done this year.
Getting
20
shit after you move.
Dude, I'm
just getting everything put away. You probably will have boxes for years.
Oh, well, I got a couple of tubs back there. I already took the majority of my game and anime. The only thing that's left is the Switch stuff back there. All the other games and anime are already put in like things. You can't see them from this perspective. But if I lift the camera up, you'll see like 3 tubs already have a bunch of shit in them. Half of these drawers are already empty. So I've done stuff.
Is mom sad or is she ready?
She's been fucking over there more than I have. Fucking dumb. I'm gonna go and
fucking move in.
I'm gonna fucking
sell her house and move in.
She told me, she's like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this yard for you. I'm like, what?
Damn.
I was like, damn, mom, like you just trying to get me the fuck out of here. I see how this is.
My buddy, his parents had to come over and cut his grass. He never cut his grass for like 5 years.
Oh no, I have no problem cutting the grass.
Cutting it.
5 years.
5 years. Damn.
And he's like, he was in his 30s. I'm like, I cut his grass once. I'm like, dude, cut your fucking grass.
No, it wouldn't. When your mother's into lawn care,
the neighbors didn't say shit.
It's habit.
It's an area where you get, lots of property in between houses and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get out of here. We'll be back next week probably, and
yes,
maybe Robert will be here. Maybe
possibly
he can talk about the play date with the girl that he had.
you
we held it down. The Triforce, we held it down.
Triforce, baby. Oreo life, baby.
I'm not the Triforce of Wisdom, so what's the other power?
I thought I was
Courage and power.
Courage. I'd say courage.
Fake ass Zelda fan, you.
I'll
take power then. Fuck it.
T's wisdom.
Yeah, T's wisdom.
I'm wisdom. All right, I'll take that. That's
all
cool.
right. So
falls in line with your Donnieisms.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Peace.